clear skies, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news.
I'm Sean Malone. Mayor Karen Spencer says she's taking a risk, suing the Board of Police Commissioners over who controls the police department. I've got that story coming up.
Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
This is Brad Choate. The Illinois governor's a believer in local news coverage. I'll have J.B. Pritzker's comments in just a bit.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. It'll be breezy and very warm today with a mix of sun and clouds, high 86.
No one can slow down Jordan Walker. He leads the big leagues with 7 home runs. Rory McIlroy, in the end, got the green jacket again. And the Masters goes to him. Dan Rudin has a report from Augusta in 15 minutes.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by DEA Take Back Day.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
We have a blockade going into effect.
President Trump's plans for the Strait of Hormuz are set to take effect in 3 hours from now after peace negotiations with Iran fell apart. Correspondent Bradley Blackburn.
President Trump says the U.S. Navy will block ships to and from Iran at the Strait of Hormuz beginning this morning as he downplayed failed peace talks over the weekend.
I don't care if they come back or not. If they don't come back, I'm fine.
CBS News has learned key sticking points include Iran's refusal to give up its nuclear ambitions and plans to charge tolls for the Strait of Hormuz.
We've made very clear what our red lines are. They have chosen not to accept our terms.
Vice President J.D. Vance, oil is trading above $100 a barrel again. Pope Leo is pushing back after President Trump lashed out over his opposition to the war. Correspondent Vicki Barker is at the foreign desk.
Blessed are the peacemakers.
Blessed are the peacemakers. Pope Leo traveling to a papal appearance in Algeria, insisting his message of peace and reconciliation is rooted in the gospel, suggesting Donald Trump's social media post calling him a terrible liberal pope who wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon is based on a failure to understand that gospel. Leo insisting he doesn't want to debate or attack anyone, but that he will continue to speak out for innocent victims of war and violence. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
California's Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell announced last night he's suspending his campaign for governor after allegations he sexually assaulted a former staffer and engaged in sexual misconduct with other women. Democratic strategist Steve Maviglio.
Everybody's going to talk about it. I think particularly the women candidates are going to use this to pivot and say, hey, isn't it time for a woman governor in the state? We've never had one.
Swalwell has repeatedly denied the accusations against him. In Budapest, Hungary,
Hungary is free now! Yay!
Celebrations after President Trump's pick, Viktor Orban, lost his bid for re-election.
I feel amazing. It's really amazing. Like, I never thought this would actually happen. I've been praying for this for 16 years.
Orban has conceded to his former loyalist, Peter Major. Britney Spears is getting help. The 44-year-old checked herself into a treatment facility after she was arrested for DUI last month. She was released the next day, and her rep called the incident unfortunate and completely inexcusable just before entering rehab. She posted a risque video of herself in a sheer black thong bodysuit, dancing suggestively. This is CBS News.
Help keep our communities safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, April 25th. Find a collection site near you at deatakeback.com.
At 6:03, we have clear skies, and it is 69 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, April 13th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. A 62-year-old Florissant man is being charged in connection to a shooting from Sunday. William Borak is facing charges including first-degree assault or attempted assault. Borak is accused of shooting someone in the chest Sunday following an argument. St. Louis County Police say several eyewitnesses corroborated the story. The 2 victims relayed to officers leading to Borak's arrest yesterday. He was in possession of a handgun at the time of his arrest.
St. Louis City Police says it stopped a potential street takeover last night. Officers shut down what they called a, quote, pre-party at Fairground Park late last night, according to a Facebook post made by the department. Police say one gun equipped with a switch was seized and warned residents not to participate in the takeovers.
$4.02. That's the average price per gallon for gas in the St. Louis region today. Gas Buddy says that average is almost 5 cents more expensive than last week, almost 61 cents higher than a month ago, and $1 higher than this time a year ago. The national average price of diesel is up 4 cents and currently sits around $5.06 per gallon. Head of Petroleum Analysis at Gas Buddy, Patrick DeHaan, says prices are likely to spike again unless there is a major breakthrough in the Strait of Hormuz.
Could her lawsuit against the Board of Police Commissioners cost Mayor Kara Spencer her job? That question raised to the mayor with a clause in the law establishing the board, saying officials who interfere with the transition could be fined or removed from office. Mayor Spencer says she took an oath to do what is best for the entire city.
I believe firmly this is in the best interest of the city of St. Louis, and I'm going to take this step today, regardless of risk.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says the clause is vague, with speech included as actions against the transition. Young says when it comes to restricting speech, the clause could be viewed as a potential First Amendment violation. However,
to the extent that this the police board law enforces actions, then those would not be necessarily covered to the same extent as would speech under the First Amendment.
Spencer says the clause is intended to stop officials from speaking out against the law.
They look like ATMs, but they're cryptocurrency kiosks. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway doesn't even think those who operate convenience stores or gas stations know what they are.
I don't have anything against the crypto industry. What people should know is if you want to invest in crypto, do it through a reputable source. Do it through an Edward Jones broker, buy a Fidelity fund, something like that.
Hanaway says sometimes the fees are 100% of the cash you put in.
American families feeling the financial strain of raising children.
A new CBS poll finds that 77% of respondents believe it's harder to raise a family today than it was for previous generations. A LendingTree study found many parents were unprepared for the added costs, with some going into debt to pay for childcare and other expenses. For the first time, the cost of raising a child through their 18th birthday has climbed to more than $300,000, according to LendingTree. Missouri is less at $261,000. To get that number, they added up everything from clothing and food to health insurance premiums, then subtracted tax incentives and credits. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
Since 2015, they've been supplying fans of St. Louis with distinct clothing items to show off their civic pride. Arch Apparel says that endeavor is coming to an end. The retailer announced it will be shutting down its online store, selling its remaining inventory. Arch Apparel posted on social media the business will be refocused to create custom clothing for teams, schools, and other groups.
It was a beautiful morning for a 26-mile run.
3, 2, 1, go!
Saturday's 2026 Go St. Louis Marathon featured competitors from across the nation. Austin Nolan took first in the men's division. Julie Lossa Snow in the women's. Side note, KMOX's own Amy Mark Scores finished second out of 420 female competitors. Her time, an amazing 2:58:20.
Go, Amy. An office building in downtown Clayton could be converted to a 150-room hotel. According to the Business Journal, it's an 11-story building that could get another story addition and a new restaurant, bar, and cafe, administrative office to support the hotel. Right now, two things remain unclear: what hotel brand would take over the building and if historic tax credits could be used. The development proposal was submitted to the city this morning.
We will check your roadways with Roger Brand and get a look at the upcoming weather, which could be a little steamy for the next couple days. KMOX News Time, 6:08.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin, WashU Medicine medical oncologist at Siteman Cancer Center. Dr. Jin, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What are some of the signs and symptoms of esophageal cancer? When should someone talk to their physician?
The first signs that I typically hear about from my patients, difficulty swallowing. They'll initially start with solids and then progressively get worse. So those are the most alarming signs. And then associated with that, pain upon swallowing. There might be a cough, weight loss. So I think the first step, if you have any alarming symptoms, is talk with your primary care and really ask them if you're appropriate to be screened.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
610, Roger Brand, you're in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's an easygoing Monday morning time. Everything looks good. The construction zones, no issues or delays out there right now. 55 down in Festus. North of River de Pere, of course, north of River de Pere on the southbound side, everything's been wrapped up. They've gotten everything back over to the southbound lanes the way they normally are, reconfigured and restriped back to their original setup. So that's good news. The drives home are better coming out of the city now. That got wrapped up last week, obviously. They're going to do a new project this week. Last week, they were working eastbound 70 between Wentzville Parkway and Highway Z during the overnight hours. This week, it's going to be westbound. So overnight, every night this week, starting tonight from 9 p.m. to 5:30 a.m., it's going to be down to one lane westbound 70 between Z and Wentzville Parkway for the week. So just be advised of that change. Last week, like I said, it was eastbound, but now they got to do the westbound side. Other than that, in the work zones everywhere else, I'm not seeing any delays. Everything is light and on the go for you out there so far this Monday morning. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting. Visit thegelmanteam.com or give them a call at 314-336-1991.
A mix of sun and clouds today. A breezy, very warm day. High 86. The record 89 was set in 1941. Partly cloudy tonight. Breezy and warm. Low just 72. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sunshine. A breezy, very warm and rather humid day. The high 88. Wednesday, more clouds than sun. Breezy and not as warm. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. The high 78. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies and 69 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's 6:12. Sports on the way in just 3 minutes. In the news this morning, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says a suggestion from President Trump's new head of Homeland Security about customs enforcement in Chicago and other so-called sanctuary cities could damage the economy. WBBM political editor Jeff Buchholz reports.
Should they really be processing customs into their city?
DHS Chief Mark Wayne Mullen made that suggestion on cable's Fox News channel about international airports in cities with policies that limit local cooperation with federal immigration enforcement.
We're asking them to partner with us at the airport, but once they walk out of the airport, they're not going to enforce immigration policy. Maybe we need to have a really hard look at that.
And pulling customs agents from O'Hare would mean that the busiest airport in the country would no longer be able to process international flights.
It feels like the Republicans don't want to fund TSA, period, end of sentence.
Governor Pritzker says pulling those workers from O'Hare and similar international airports, including San Francisco and Los Angeles, would damage the nation's economy.
We ought to continue to demand that the Republicans fund TSA and fund the things that we need in order to keep the economy running.
Jeff Buchholz, News Radio 105.9, WBBM.
The Illinois governor also says his state's doing what it can to support the local news ecosystem.
The people must know before they can act, and there is no educator to compare with the press.
Speaking at a news summit in Chicago, J.B. Pritzker quoted the late African-American writer, sociologist, and Illinois native Ida B. Wells in telling working members of newsrooms that the state recognizes their worth to society. He said that even includes in the legal realm.
we amended the Citizen Participation Act to explicitly protect news media from frivolous defamation lawsuits and similar litigation, which are often designed to intimidate and to bleed newsrooms dry.
Brad Choate, KMOX News.
The governor and other U.S. governors urging a power grid operator to force data centers to pay their fair share for electricity, providing financial relief for consumers. Here's WBBM's Jan Coleman.
Pritzker and 7 other governors are pushing power grid operator PJM Interconnection to force data centers to pay for all the power they use rather than push these costs on to consumers. PJM operates the power grid that serves Illinois and a dozen other states. The governors want PJM to shield consumers from costs driven by new data centers around the country. Among the other governors, Mike Braun of Indiana, Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Wes Moore of Maryland, and newly elected Mikey Sherrill of New Jersey and Abigail Spanberger of Virginia. Jan Coleman, 105.9 WBBM.
Well, if you were like me, you were glued to the TV yesterday afternoon. The final round of the Masters is must-watch stuff on CBS, and even better if you were in the seat of Dan Reardon, KMOX's senior golf editor in Augusta, Georgia, with the very latest.
A year ago, Rory McIlroy left Augusta with his first green jacket and a career slam. Yesterday at the Masters, he collected his second Masters trophy, and he's now halfway to a second career slam. McIlroy stumbled early, trailed by 3 after 6 holes, but a birdie at the 7th seemed to start his engine. He added a birdie at the next, put up back-to-back birdies at 12 and 13, and never looked back with a round of 1 under 71, 12 under par. Scotty Scheffler, who was 12 back after the close of play on Friday, found his own ignition switch. He played the weekend in 133, 11 under, and fell a stroke short of McIlroy. At the Masters, Dan Reardon for KMOX Radio Sports.
To baseball we go. The Redbird Report, sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. And Ricky, a great start to the series with a 3-2 win. And it was Dustin May having a great start. But the next 2 games, the starting pitching was better for Boston than the Cardinals. The Red Sox won 2 out of 3 and capped things off with a 9-3 win yesterday.
It was Brian Bayo better than Andre Palante yesterday. The Cardinals did get a couple of home runs. Alec Burleson hit his 50th career homer, and Jordan Walker homered again. He now has 7 of them, but Wilson Contreras with 4 hits. Trevor Story with 4 hits. Too much from the Boston Red Sox offense.
And Mason Wynn wasn't able to go the last 2 days with a sore leg after being hit by a pitch Friday.
Cardinals miss him on the defensive side especially.
The Cardinals will take on the Guardians. Cleveland is in to begin 3 with Liberatore on the mound tonight.
Cleveland's always a good team, and it's up to Libby to keep them quiet.
Matthew Liberatore against Gavin Williams. Airtime 5:50 for the Cardinals and Guardians.
Keep them quiet, something Andre Palante could not do. He got jumped for 7 runs. Manager Ali Marmol.
Yeah, it's tough to see the line with the 7th spot on him. I mean, I think we didn't help defensively behind him on a couple plays there, and then Duran got him for a really nice swing to cash in on those runs. But a couple double play balls there that I think the inning looks different if we're able to execute. But yeah.
It was a great day for the St. Louis Battlehawks. These fans going to the Dome are getting their money's worth. The Battlehawks came roaring back to beat the Birmingham Stallions. Final score was 34-30. In fact, they stormed back from 2 10-point deficits to get the win at the Dome. Wide receiver Hakeem Butler, he is very talented. 4 catches for 146 yards and a touchdown. And the Battlehawks defense, which dominated the first quarter, let Birmingham back into the game, was able to come up with some clutch plays late as the Battlehawks beat the Stallions 34-30 and go on the road to face the DC Defenders for a little rematch at Audi Field on Saturday. Coming up in 5 minutes, we'll hear from another team. You probably have attended a game in MLS play. Have you been to a U.S. Open Cup match? St. Louis City SC has a game on KMOX Wednesday. We're pretty excited about that. Sporting director Corey Ray at 622.
Last year, we had 295 trials where we'd been offered a total of $90 million on all those cases. When the dust settled, we had recovered over $1.1 billion in verdicts and mid-trial settlements. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. The best part of all those wins is that it helps you when you hire us. All those wins allow us to let the insurance company know we mean business. And believe me, they know who we are. If you've been injured, Google Morgan & Morgan results. You're not bragging if it's a fact. 3 million people tried to hire us last year alone. That happened for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com and let's get started this minute. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
2026, I've been hearing from customers and friends that their utility bills went up quite a bit for their electric bill. That being said, and you're looking at buying a new air conditioner, or you're thinking, hey, I guess let's just get an air conditioner so it helps with the electric bills. If you have an old system, it definitely can help you. But watch your thinking. Just because you are told this is a so-called high-efficient air conditioner, it's not going to save you nowhere near what you think it's going to save you. Just replacing your old equipment is the biggest thing, and make your house efficient. An air conditioner is not going to make your house efficient. That being said, it's a great time to purchase an air conditioner if you get the correct one. Don't overspend. Don't believe the hype. In other words, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Call me, Bart Inman, at 314, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. God bless.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:20 on Total Information AM. Brian Feldman alongside Tom Ackerman. Let's bring in Roger Brand from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center to get a look at the roadways.
Well, we're doing all right out there so far this morning, Brian. I mean, we had a couple of, the stalls never last, thankfully. They had a couple of stalls on 270 northbound. One of them was near 64, the other one near Dorset, but they got them out of the way fast. And again, lighter volume. It's getting a little busier, but still not bad. So there are no delays through those points. But 55 is usually the first place we see slowdowns. And there is that slowdown now in the construction zones. Like I said, last week they got the southbound lanes back on track. They're back into their regular configuration. They still have northbound 55 work to do in the city. So afternoon drives between Arsenal and River to Pear are good. But in the mornings, you have delays. And right now, that's what we're seeing. The only place we have slowdowns, northbound 55. North of Richardson up through 141 toward the Merrimack, where we have the one work zone set up. And then from Bayless up to Weber, it's slow again on northbound 55. Again, those northbound lanes still have work to be completed, unlike the southbound side. On the Illinois side, 64 through Fairview Heights looks good, and the bridges downtown are clear. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold. Guaranteed Realty, 314-325-6888.
You want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says times of sun and clouds today, breezy, very warm, high 86 today, partly cloudy, breezy, and warm tonight. A low tonight, just 72. Tomorrow we get up to 88 and rather humid conditions, says Joe. Wednesday, chance of a thunderstorm and a high of 78. Currently, it's 68 downtown at the Arch. St. Louis City SC coming off a road point at Dallas. First time they've won down at Toyota Stadium. First time they've gained a point down at Toyota Stadium, I should say. A 1-1 draw against FC Dallas on Saturday. I talked it over with sporting director Corey Ray, who has a big week ahead, including a Wednesday night game on KMOX. And I asked him, knowing that he just got here, and so did Coach Yohan DeMay, how is this regime different, especially DeMay's demeanor, than the coaches before him?
That might be a question for everyone else, because we're coming in at the same time. I can tell you, I've worked with probably over 12 head coaches in my time, which is quite a lot. It does mean that, some of them didn't have a long lifespan, but with that, I will say that the things that he does well, he's very clear in what he's asking for instruction-wise. He sees the game and presents the match plan in a very concise way that the players can digest and execute. And I think, he's not overly reactive to results. He keeps things going with a steady hand. And week by week, game by game, we're trying to add in different layers. And I think, progress-wise, we're doing a good job, at least in some of the things they're trying to do in being competitive week after week. And I think that's a start for sure. And I think without a solid defensive structure and shape, you don't end up becoming a great team. And I'll give credit to the back line and those involved, obviously from goalkeeper to midfield and to the front, like you mentioned. Without that structure, we don't have a really good upside. And so week by week, we'll build out the rest, but I'm pretty happy with where we are.
And sometimes you get rewarded. That's the first MLS goal for Baumgartel. Pretty nice day.
Yeah. I'd say he was pretty happy with that. And again, off of, continuous pressure, we finally get some good crosses in there. I think that was off a little bit last night, and he capitalized. So I'm very happy with him. He's put in a good shift since the start of the year. He's been very consistent and reliable, and he got what he deserved for sure.
And I've asked you this before, but tell me about your relationship and how you've observed Roman Bürki. Now you've seen him from afar. Now you've been able to work with him extensively. He's not a coach. I just asked you about Yohan Demey, but sure has seemed like Bürki has been almost like the coach on the field for them.
Yeah, I think, look, you're building out a team. You're trying to create lines of consistency. And I think Roman's been able to keep us in these last two games with outstanding performances. Some of the other things in terms of his distribution and calmness on the ball give us a real chance to break through when we are under pressure. So from a team standpoint, not having to worry about necessarily what's going to happen and for him to come up big in those moments, it does provide a lot of that belief that I'm discussing with the group. And I know that they've been really happy with his performances to get us these points over the last few weeks.
Now, Wednesday night on KMOX, we are going to carry the U.S. Open Cup matchup against FC Tulsa at Energizer Park. This is exciting for us, and I know it's exciting for you. And here's something, Corey, that I think is a reality, that people get so wrapped up in MLS tickets, the MLS schedule, that sometimes these games escape them a little bit. This is a great opportunity to snag a ticket to see your favorite MLS team play in this type of an atmosphere at Energizer Park in a big game.
Yeah, I think, look, there's definitely, first of all, an opportunity to win a trophy. So we're very, very focused on, like I said, being the first to win a trophy for this club and for the fans. And so this is the start of that run. If I'm correct, I think it's about 5 or 6 games to win a trophy. So we're going to put our heads down and give it a real go. And I think for fans to come in and see the group fighting for that, to be a part of hopefully a historic run, obviously presents a great opportunity, because I know tickets are hard to come by for the first team matches.
Yeah, we're excited about it. It's a 7:00 start. That's when our broadcast starts on Wednesday, April 15th, St. Louis City against FC Tulsa in the U.S. Open Cup. KMOX is going to broadcast this. As people probably know, Y98 carries the majority of city broadcasts, if not all of them, but KMOX will get a little bit here, and that is fun for us. And I know that as you've become accustomed to working in that building, how much you appreciate it. That is one of the great venues in this sport, isn't it?
Unbelievable venue. We've got a little bit of a grass upgrade as well. They laid some new sod, so it's going to be in pristine condition. So I know the guys are really excited about also being able to play at home. It's been a few weeks, after the New England game and the break. It feels like forever. So our guys are going to be fired up. The coaching staff are excited. I know the players are really excited to go for some silverware. So let's hope that we can get some fans out, enjoy the game, and, hopefully provide a really good result as well.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't seen Energizer Park, this is a great opportunity to do it. Wednesday, get a ticket to see the U.S. Open Cup matchup against FC Tulsa. 6:28, time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. Thanks to Corey Ray, Sporting Director for St. Louis City SC.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up. Let's talk about Air Medical memberships. In an emergency, you don't choose who transports you. Dispatch sends the closest, most appropriate aircraft. Here's what matters: speed, skill, advanced care. Like critical care crews trained for the toughest moments. Like onboard blood that can make the difference between life and death. Arch Air Medical Service delivers life-saving air medical care across Effingham and surrounding communities. When you call for help, we bring hospital-level care to you. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest licensed air medical provider. And about the cost, the No Surprises Act protects patients with private health insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You're only responsible for your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. Medicare and Medicaid patients have similar protections. No surprise bills, no balance billing, no membership required. Because when it's your life on the line, what matters isn't membership, it's medicine. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing. Oh, hey. More like Mira Joyed. That Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects. Ooh, how does it work? It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation. Our annual Customer Appreciation Days are back. Save 10 to 20% on your garden and landscape needs on April 24th through 25th. Visit www.chesterfieldvalleynursery.com for more details. KMOX will be live on site Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
At 6:30, we have cloudy skies, and it is 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, April 13th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, getting more volume, and especially on the south side, obviously, that's where we get the delays first in the morning, it seems like. So northbound 55, you've got heavy traffic coming up from north of Richardson through 141 to the Merrimack as you enter the construction zone there. It's more of a backup now from the Union Road overpass up to Weber on North 55, and then Loughborough up to Virginia, a little slow after that. There's a little bit of volume on North 270, just kind of slow midway up the hill from Doherty Ferry to Manchester, so a little bit busier there. And out to the west, we're seeing some slowdowns on southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway on to 64 through Prospect. It opens up before you get to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Eastbound 70 is a great run from Warrenton. If you want to come that way in from Wentzville, there are no delays across the Blanchette Bridge. We look great on the Illinois side. Westbound 55, 70, and 64 headed for the Poplar Musial Veterans Bridges. Everything's rolling nicely there as well. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Going to be pretty hot today. Sun, clouds, breezy, but very warm. A high of 86 degrees. Meteorologist Joe Lundberg says the record 89 set back in 1941, so we might approach that. Tonight, breezy and warm, low of just 72. Right now, we have cloudy skies and 68 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's 6:32, $4.02. That's the average price per gallon for gas in the St. Louis region today. Gas Buddy says that average is almost 5 cents more expensive than last week, almost 61 cents higher than a month ago, and $1 higher than this time a year ago. The national average price of diesel is up 4 cents and currently sits around $5.06 per gallon. Head of Petroleum Analysis at Gas Buddy, Patrick DeHaan, says prices are likely to spike again unless there is a major breakthrough in the Strait of Hormuz.
St. Louis City Police says it stopped a potential street takeover last night. Officers shut down what it called a pre-party at Fairground Park late last night. That's according to a Facebook post made by the department. Police say one gun equipped with a switch was seized and warned residents not to participate in the takeovers.
A funeral for fallen St. Louis police officer Gregory Triplett is scheduled for this morning. The 58-year-old officer died almost 2 weeks ago after suffering a medical emergency during a training exercise. His funeral will start at 10 o'clock this morning at Cathedral Basilica. Parts of Lindell Boulevard will be closed throughout the morning for the procession.
The city of St. Louis suing to throw out the law, putting the police department under control of a state-appointed board. Could it cost Mayor Kara Spencer her job?
It's clear that the intention was to ensure that elected officials didn't speak out against this. And I'm doing that now. We have examined it. We do recognize the risks associated with these actions.
Mayor Kara Spencer, when asked about a clause that says officials who try to interfere with the transition of the police department to state control could face fines or even removal from office. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says he anticipates the fines would come well before a removal from office, but says the legality of that clause is questionable.
The biggest constitutional issue with this law is this idea of prohibited acts, which would include speech that could result in either fines or removal from office. That's going to face very strict constitutional scrutiny.
Mayor Spencer says she took an oath to all city workers and believes the lawsuit is in their best interest. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
In our March Madness tournament, we have for the last several weeks been searching for the best bar in the St. Louis area as voted by you. We had our championship matchup of McGurk's versus O.B. Clark's, and we would like to congratulate in what is one of the narrowest margins we could have imagined. Way to go, McGurk's.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
April is the perfect time to reset your home for the long run, and Universal Windows Direct makes that decision easy. Right now, when you buy 2 windows, get 2 for free, and there's no limit. Plus, you'll get 24 months with no payments and no interest, giving you a full 2 years to enjoy the comfort before you pay a dime, and a $500 bonus off your home improvement project. Universal Windows Direct has been great to me. They've been great to all of my listeners. They are absolutely the real deal. 314-334-2522 or universalwindowsdirect.com.
The BizDash 5K, presented by Worldwide Technology, is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, this high-energy corporate race is St. Louis's healthiest happy hour, combining fitness, fun, and unbeatable team bonding for companies of every size. Runners and walkers of all levels are welcome. It all comes together at Energizer Park Thursday, May 7th in downtown St. Louis, an office party like no other. Create your company team today at stlbizdash.com.
At 6:36, time now for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Energy markets have been upended by the war in the Middle East, with higher prices threatening to stoke inflation while slowing economic growth. Now, the U.S. is vowing to blockade all vessels passing through the Strait of Hormuz following failed peace talks this weekend. Stocks are falling this Monday. S&P futures down 37 points. Dow futures falling 225. Meantime, earnings season kicks off this week. Investors eager to hear from companies about the impact the war is having on businesses all around the country. Banking giant Goldman Sachs reports their quarterly financial report card before the opening bell this morning. And many college graduates are working in jobs that high schoolers could land, from ringing up customers at clothing stores to serving at coffee shops. Almost 43% of U.S. graduates aged 22 to 27 are underemployed, which is a term that describes people stuck in a job that doesn't require the degree they earned. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Let's check that Monday morning commute. Roger Brand, you're in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, nothing out of the ordinary so far for a Monday morning, Tom. Building volume in the usual spots. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. So if you're traveling north on 55, you're bogged down north of Richardson, up through 141 to the Merrimack, where you have those lane restrictions. And again, they fixed the southbound side of 55 coming out of the city, but northbound 55, we still have the roadwork zones active, and there are still restrictions. So north 55 is slow from the Union Road overpass all the way up to about Holly Hills, Virginia. Northbound 270, that's slower now as well. North of Big Bend, headed up to Manchester, pretty busy on that run. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway down onto 64, a couple of slowdowns toward Lake St. Louis Boulevard. It opens up before you get to the boulevard. Eastbound 70, great run out of Wentzville all the way downtown. And downtown, we're still good to go. Westbound 55, 70, and 64, no delays coming in across the Poplar Museo Veterans Bridges for Illinois drivers. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
At 6:41, we welcome in meteorologist Joe Lundberg for a look at the weather forecast. And Joe, looks like we may get close to the records set back a long time ago.
And we got a couple of them that are in sight. That's today and tomorrow. Today, we're going to do it with sunshine and some clouds, a warm breeze, 86. The record is 89, set way back in 1941. Then partly cloudy tonight. We're probably not going to go below 70 tonight. Tomorrow, clouds and sun, breezy, very warm, feeling kind of humid, like it's more like June or July rather than mid-April. Our high of 88 could challenge the record of 92 that was set more recently, 20 years ago, 2006. A lot of clouds Wednesday. It looks like that's the stormiest day of the week. A couple of showers and thunderstorms. There's a threat for hail and damaging winds with those storms, the high 78. Thursday, clouds and sun and warm. Still a risk of a shower and thunderstorm, the high 81. Friday, partly sunny, breezy and warm. If there's a thunderstorm, it's likely to our north and west, and in the afternoon, Friday's high 83. Right now, 69 across the board at St. Peter's, Florissant, and partly cloudy, 69 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, Joe, thank you. Sports coming up at 6:45. At 6:42, Pope Leo has an answer to President Trump's pointed and direct criticism of him, telling reporters traveling with him to Algiers, quote, "I will not shy away from announcing the message of the gospel." Earlier, President Trump in a social media post and then at Joint Base Andrews, returning to Washington from Florida, said this about the leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics.
We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. Now, I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
The Pope is now in Algiers, the start of his 10-day trip to Africa.
California's Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell suspended his campaign for governor, this amid accusations of sexual assault by a former staffer and sexual misconduct with other women. Democratic strategist Steve Maviglio says Swalwell was essentially out of choices as his frontrunner status evaporated in the span of a weekend. But he also says this is now an opening for the female candidates in the race.
Everybody's going to talk about it. I think particularly the women candidates are going to use this to pivot and say, hey, isn't it time for a woman governor in the state? We've never had one.
The war with Iran is the latest thing to take a bite out of the snack market.
Lay's Classic. Bet you can't eat just one.
But sales of Lay's potato chips, Doritos, Cheetos, and other snacks slumped after prices, which surged during pandemic supply problems, kept on increasing, with some bags costing more than $7. Bloomberg reports inflation, and now the Iran war has consumers spending less on snacks. In February, Frito-Lay parent company PepsiCo announced it would slash prices by up to 15% and should know by this summer if customers are coming back. Heather Bosch, CBS News.
It's time for Who's Hot, Who's Not, and it's sponsored by St. Louis Composting, Growing Gardens, and Making Memories. There's only one choice here on the Cardinals. It's Jordan Walker, your major league leader in home runs.
Leo's pitch is swung on, and there's a high fly ball. That's hit to deep left center field. Back to the track, the wall. It's a goner. Walker hits a home run to get the Cardinals on the board.
Over and over, he does it. It's amazing. Here's manager Ollie Marmol on the work that Walker has put in.
Yeah, I think he's in a really good spot when it comes to being able to separate those two. There's a lot of work being put in, a lot of thought and intentionality into the cage work and stuff on the field. But then when the game starts, just being able to compete and just be free in what he's doing out there is the key to this. So I think the work has been really good, and that's why I keep mentioning that. But then, man, you get in the box, it's you against the pitcher, and just competing is important, and he's done a nice job of that.
President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom.
I'm proud of him and just happy for him because, like we've talked about literally all offseason and through spring training, the work has been there throughout. And I'm also very appreciative to Ollie and our staff for just never wavering and just having his back with this because of how he was going about it and because of the belief in the work. And, you know, we've talked about this. Like, I think anybody who tells you they saw this coming, I don't believe them. But that's why you put in the work, and that's why you stick with the process, is to give yourself a chance to achieve this. Now, like I've also said, like if we're to sit here and say, hey, you know, we fixed it, we're good. Well, that's not how this works either. This is going to continue to be a process. The thing that's coolest about this is that Jordan's just, you know, looking forward. And he's not getting too caught up, just like he did not allow some of the struggles to defeat him. He's not getting too caught up in where he's at now, and he continues to put in the work.
On the downside, the Cardinals lost the game 9-3 to the Red Sox, 7 runs allowed by starter Andre Palante. Cards lose 2 out of 3. They host the Guardians tonight at 6:45 to golf.
Yeah, I thought it was so difficult to win last year because of trying to win the Masters and the Grand Slam. And then this year I realized it's just really difficult to win the Masters.
That is Rory McIlroy wearing another green jacket as Masters champion. Here's Dan Reardon.
When you're 36 and have achieved most of your goals in the game, you need to find new mountains to climb. Yesterday at Augusta National, Rory McIlroy began the ascent. McIlroy rallied from 3 strokes back in the middle of the round, and his 12 under total makes him the 4th player, along with Nicklaus, Woods, and Faldo, to win back-to-back Masters. Rory now needs wins in the 2 Opens, and he will join Nicklaus and Woods with 2 career slams. His 6th major win ties Faldo for most majors from Europe in the modern era. Scotty Scheffler gave McIlroy 2 great ahead start during the week, and rounds of 65-68 on the weekend left him alone in second, 1 behind McIlroy. At the Masters, Dan Reardon for KMOX Radio Sports.
Battlehawks won over Birmingham, 34-30 was the final at the Dome. St. Louis Composting, Growing Gardens, Making Memories. We all felt that brutal Missouri drought last summer. Well, top dressing is what you need to do. You top dress your lawn with Field and Turf Enhancer. Get that essential organic matter back into your soil. Soil with 5% or more organic matter is the gold standard, and St. Louis Composting can help you with that. Top dressing makes your lawn significantly more drought resistant, meaning a healthier yard and a lower water bill this year. Refresh your entire landscape with a fresh layer of mulch in your flower beds and around your trees. St. Louis Composting can help you there. It's the fastest way to make your yard pop with a beautiful, well-kept look. St. Louis Composting. 9 retail locations all over the St. Louis area. There's one right around the corner from you, or you can do what we did, just have it delivered. STLcompost.com. They even have a material calculator to figure out exactly how much soil or mulch your project requires. St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens, making memories.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:50 on this Monday morning on Total Information AM. Brian Feldman alongside Tom Ackerman. Let's check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they've got those south side slowdowns out there right now, Brian. In fact, some of it's stop and go, but it's slow right now on northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack. It's almost midway between Richardson and 141 to the Merrimack, but it's the way it is nowadays with the road work going on at that stage of 55. And in the city or headed into the city, it's more of a stop and go pockets of traffic that's running from the Union Road overpass up to about Holly Hills. North 270, there's a little slowdown now north of Gravois and north of 44 up through Doherty Ferry. The busiest part. It starts opening up after that. If you're on southbound 61, you've got a couple of slowdowns coming down through Wentzville Parkway to 64. But once you get on 64, it looks good coming through the Wentzville Lake St. Louis area. There is a slowdown now past the Spirit of St. Louis overpass toward Long Road, a little busy patch there in the valley. We'll try to check on that. Eastbound 70, barely a slowdown at Highway A. After that, it picks up the pace, and it's a good run in through 270. And downtown westbound, we still look great across the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridges. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Staples.
Staples has hundreds of great ways to boost your brand, like spectacular signs, brilliant brochures, eye-popping posters, mouth-watering menus, and more. Shop now through April 18th and save up to $125 on all your custom prints. Staples, that was easy.
Weather forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. It's going to be a warm one today. A high of 86, sun of clouds, breezy, partly cloudy, breezy, warm tonight, low 72. That's it. And then tomorrow we're up to 88 with humid conditions. Right now it's 68 downtown at the Arch.
At 6:52, we welcome in CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger, Jill on money.com. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning.
And it sounds like with retirement on the mind of the younger generation, a lot of people starting to look at alternative ways to save. Is that right?
Yeah. It's so interesting to me when you kind of hear from people. So I hear from people on my radio show, on my podcast, and I'll hear from a lot of folks, let's say that they're over 50 and they're talking about, well, when can I retire? And this very assumed that, I'm on the right track. But when I get younger people on the air, it's not assumed. It's almost this question of I don't know if I'll ever be able to retire, or I'm so scared that I just can't navigate my financial life right now. I'll never live as well as my parents have lived. Oops, sorry about that. And I think that that's something that's kind of pervasive of a lot of younger folks. A new study from Northwestern Mutual, the big, huge insurance company, found 80% of Gen Z are the folks who are born after 1996, 75% of millennials 1981 to 96. So the vast majority of these younger workers say they feel behind financially. Why is that? They can't afford homes. They've got a lot of college loans that they're still paying off. They feel like whatever they do is not going to get them where they want to go. And as a result, they are turning to these alternative ways of building wealth, like crypto bets, prediction markets, online gambling. Those things are exploding. And of course, people like me are like, oh no, that's scary. They're not using their 401ks enough. And it's just a really heavy lift for this younger generation. They're very anxious right now.
So your advice to them, take a breath and start planning.
Yeah, I mean, at least understand that if you're going to go into crypto or you're going to do online gambling because you're like so excited about your home team, take a teeny tiny bit of money and have some fun. That's entertainment, right? Maybe it's the money you were going to use to go to the movies. Fine. But if you're looking at long-term wealth, the way to do that is in a consistent way is just to put a little bit of money away every so often, monthly, every paycheck, into some account, a Roth IRA, a 401k if you have one through work, a 403b, but be methodical about it, because the other way is just I'm going to throw some darts. I hope if I get a bullseye, that's great. Well, you know what? Chances are you're not going to hit a bullseye, right? So let's get back to basics.
We appreciate you, Jill. Thanks so much for the visit. JillOnMoney.com, CBS News analyst Jill Schlesinger. Have a great week.
Thank you.
It's 6:55.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
I got a birthday request for Monday, April 14th. So today's April 13th, and it is Monday. So I'm going to actually put that off until tomorrow. I believe the 14th is the key thing there.
Okay.
So we'll put that one off. Your local celebrity birthdays are coming.
Celebrity birthdays. TV actress Allison Williams is 37 today. Happy birthday. Movie actor Ron Perlman is 75. TV actor Philip Gayho is 23. TV actor Kyle Howard is 47. And happy birthday, R&B singer Al Green, 79.
Happy 55th birthday, Lisa Ross, from your friend BH. Happy birthday to Kat Pohl, turning 21 today. Happy birthday, Kyle Sixta, our very own. Mike Elam's birthday is coming, and we wish Kyle a very happy birthday. Happy birthday to Pat Bradley from Bob and Jean in Florida. Happy birthday to Bill Mulder with lots of love from the Addams family. Happy birthday, Christopher Ave, Daryl Missy, and Christy Beckman. Birthdays sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com.
This is the best birthday ever.
Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
McKelvey Homes is 128 years old. They started in 1898. What a great company. McKelvey Homes, Missouri's oldest home builder. Did you know that? Jim Brennan and his company, they build all over the St. Louis area. Odds are you have seen one of their home sites. I'm going to tell you about one of them. It's called Cottleville Trails. If you're in the market for a new home, Cottleville Trails. I've known Jim Brennan and McKelvey Homes for years, and this community is something special. 5 lakes, a pool, a playground, Francis House schools, and get this, you can walk to downtown Cottleville for lunch or dinner at Menino's Market. Jim says it's his new favorite sandwich shop, and knowing Jim, that means something. You can also take a golf cart to downtown. I've always wanted to do that, have a golf cart and be able to drive downtown and come back home. It's a neighborhood where you actually know your neighbors. McKelveyHomes.com. McKelveyHomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plate. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Ready to hit a home run with your backyard? Call Artistic Decks. We're celebrating 25 years of A-plus service with massive rollback pricing. Get a professional custom-built deck for less. Hit it out of the park with Artistic Decks. Call 314-280-0821 today.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
6:59. Let's check the roadways with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Fire responding to an injury crash reported at Carroll Park and Gravois, so watch it if you're headed that way. Northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack is slow. It's backed up from about Bayless, headed up across River to Pear, heavy park. It's just a little slow now. North 270 at Doherty Ferry, eastbound 64, a little bit slow past 170 in Hanley. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by DEA Take Back Day.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump's decision to blockade the Strait of Hormuz is set to take effect in 2 hours after peace talks with Iran fell apart over the weekend.
I don't care if they come back or not. If they don't come back, I'm fine.
The naval blockade will affect all ships entering or leaving Iranian ports. White House correspondent Weijia Jiang has reaction.
Iran's parliament speaker responded, "Enjoy the current pump figures. With the so-called blockade, soon you'll be nostalgic for $4 to $5 gas." A new CBS News poll found more than half of Americans say gas prices have been a financial hardship.
They're at an average of $4.13 a gallon today. In California, $5.89. President Trump has criticized the Pope for urging an end to the war. He did it again today in Algeria.
I will continue to speak out loudly against war, looking to promote peace, promoting dialogue and multilateral relationships among the states.
The Pope says his beliefs are rooted in the gospel.
He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime.
California's Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell is pausing his bid for governor. Correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns is on Capitol Hill.
Swalwell suspended his campaign for governor late Sunday, writing, "He's deeply sorry for mistakes in judgment I've made in my past."
These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They're absolutely false. They did not happen.
But 4 women have come forward to allege sexual misconduct by the married father of 3.
The Los Angeles School District has reached a tentative agreement with unionized teachers. Now, school officials are hoping to reach a deal with service employees, threatening to strike tomorrow. CBS News LA's Lauren Posen.
Some of the sticking points, the union that represents about 30,000 workers, from bus drivers to custodians, teachers' aides to cafeteria workers and other essential workers, include higher wages. The union says their members are some of the district's lowest paid workers.
At the Masters,
Rory is a rare repeat winner at Augusta.
Rory McIlroy, now the 4th golfer ever to win back-to-back titles. He joins Jack Nicklaus, Sir Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods.
It was a tough weekend. I did the bulk of my work on Thursday and Friday, but just so happy to hang in there and get the job done.
McIlroy not only gets to wear that snazzy green jacket, he takes home $4.5 million in prize money. Scotty Scheffler came in second. Justin Rose tied for third. This is CBS News.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, April 25th. Find a collection site near you at deatakeback.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with American Eagle.
At 7:04, we have mostly cloudy skies, and it is 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, April 13th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. St. Louis police say they stopped a potential street takeover last night. Officers shut down what they called a pre-party at Fairground Park late last night. That's according to a Facebook post made by the department. Police say one gun equipped with a switch was seized, and they warn residents not to participate in the takeovers.
A 62-year-old Florissant man being charged in connection to a shooting from Sunday. William Borak facing charges including first-degree assault or attempted assault. Borak accused of shooting someone in the chest Sunday following an argument. St. Louis County Police say several witnesses corroborated the story the two victims relayed to officers, leading to Borak's arrest. He was in possession of a handgun at the time.
A funeral for fallen St. Louis police officer Gregory Triplett is scheduled for this morning. The 58-year-old officer died almost 2 weeks ago after suffering a medical emergency during a training exercise. His funeral will start at 10 o'clock this morning at Cathedral Basilica. Parts of Lindo Boulevard will be closed throughout the morning for the procession.
Could her lawsuit against the Board of Police Commissioners cost Mayor Kara Spencer her job? That question was raised to the mayor with a clause in the law establishing the board, saying officials who interfere with the transition could be fined or removed from office. Mayor Spencer says she took an oath to do what is best for the entire city.
I believe firmly this is in the best interest of the city of St. Louis, and I'm going to take this step today, regardless of risk. KMOX
legal analyst Brad Young says the clause vague, with speech included as actions against the transition. Young says when it comes to restricting speech, the clause could be viewed as a potential First Amendment violation. However,
to the extent that this the police board law enforces actions, then those would not be necessarily covered to the same extent as would speech under the First Amendment.
Spencer says the clause intended to stop officials from speaking out against the law.
Well, it was a beautiful morning for a 26-mile run.
3, 2, 1, go!
The Go St. Louis Marathon was on Saturday and featured competitors from around the world. Austin Nolan took first in the men's division. Julie Lossa Snow in the women's, and finishing second. On the women's side, KMOX's own Amy Mark scores second out of 420 female competitors. Her time was 2:58:20.
Go, Amy. $4.02. That is the average price per gallon for gas in the St. Louis region today. Gas Buddy says that averaged nearly 5 cents more expensive than last week, nearly 61 cents higher than a month ago, and $1 higher than this time a year ago. The national average price of diesel up 4 cents and currently sits around $5.06 per gallon. Head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy, Patrick Dehan, says prices likely to spike again unless there's a major breakthrough in the Strait of Hormuz.
From the KMOX business desk, an office building in downtown Clayton could be converted to a 150-room hotel. According to the Business Journal, the 11-story building is located at 200 South Hanley. Development plans show it could get another story addition and a new restaurant, bar, and cafe, and administrative office to support the hotel. Right now, two things remain unclear: what hotel brand would take over the building and if historic tax credits could be used. The development proposal was submitted to the city this morning.
We will check your roadways with Roger Brand and get a look at the forecast, which is going to be a little steamy and could approach some records, according to meteorologist Joe Lundberg. KMOX News Time, 7:08.
Beat the spring cleaning rush at Zero Res. This is the perfect time to clean your air ducts as you deal with allergy season, furnace, and air conditioning efficiency, post-winter, and more. Your air ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air suffers. Just check out the 5,900 Google reviews with 4.9 ratings. This month, get a whole system air duct cleaning for just $599. Pay less for fresh. 314-474-2020 or go online at zeroresstl.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin.
Curative, that's a complex decision that involves what we call multidisciplinary care. So that involves a surgeon, a medical oncologist, radiation oncologist. So you need the expertise, and that's something that we have here at Siteman, especially geared for these esophageal cancer patients.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. Visit siteman.washu.edu.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, let's check with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, thankfully, Tom, that crash over in House Springs turned out to be minor. It's just a car off the roadway. That was the one I mentioned at the top of the hour at Carroll Park Road in Gravois. So just a brief delay there. Emergency crews, I think, are going back in service already. So that's good news, obviously. Northbound 55, you've got slow traffic north of Richardson, headed up through 141 to the Merrimack, and then it's bogged down again from about Bayless all the way up through Virginia. There's a little slowdown through Gravois on northbound 270. It's also a little slow Clayton Road up to 64 in that construction zone. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, east of A, headed to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, it's a little busy. 64 east of Prospect, there's a little slowdown, and then a brief slowdown eastbound 64 through 170 and Hanley. After that, it's clear downtown. And downtown, we still look great. Westbound, I'm not seeing any delays. Headed in on 55, 70, or 64, Popular, Musial, Veterans Bridges, you're still good to go. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, times of sun and clouds today. Breezy and very warm with a high of 86. The record is 89 instead of 1941. Partly cloudy tonight, breezy and warm, low just 72. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sunshine, breezy, very warm and rather humid, the high 88. The record is 92, set back in 2006. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, breezy, and not as warm with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high 78. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies and 68 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:12. Tonight's City Council meeting in Festus will tackle the issue of new council members. 4 new council members will be sworn in during the meeting that will be held outside of the Festus City Hall starting at 6 p.m. The turnover comes after 3 of the 4 ousted incumbents voted in favor of a controversial data center despite objections from residents.
Efforts to stop the project continued after the election when a lawsuit filed against the city of Festus and CRG, the data center's developer. At polling places throughout the city, Festus residents also collected signatures for a recall of Mayor Sam Richards. Richards says he's already signed a contract with CRG.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and 7 other governors are demanding the company that operates the power grid that serves Illinois and a dozen other states to shield consumers from costs driven up by new data centers. Here's WBBM's Jan Coleman.
The governors, who include Mike Braun of Indiana, Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Wes Moore of Maryland, and newly elected Mikey Sherrill of New Jersey and Abigail Spanberger of Virginia, are trying to convince the PJM company to force data centers to pay for all the power they use. In a letter sent this past week to the Power Grid Company CEO, the governors urged PJM to assign costs for additional electricity required by data centers directly to the data center, rather than spread that cost across all customers. Pritzker previously joined a group of governors that successfully lobbied PJM to extend a limit on price hikes in capacity auctions for a 2-year period. Jan Coleman, 105.9 WBBM.
The Illinois governor also a believer in local news coverage.
Often the best journalists are in these very small organizations and doing jack-of-all-trades work to deliver news, real news, and truth to people.
Governor J.B. Pritzker recently spoke at a news summit in Chicago about the state's efforts to protect and expand local news coverage.
Pritzker said at a time when media outlets are under attack from a variety of angles, he's proud that Illinois is doing the opposite.
In 2025, over $4 million in state tax credits supported 58 Illinois local news entities, benefiting more than 600 journalists that work there.
Pritzker also said the legislature passed measures to increase transparency in the sale of media outlets, as well as protections against journalists and their employers from frivolous lawsuits. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Both, but yeah, just incredible. You know, I obviously did the bulk of my work on Thursday and Friday, and you know, I don't think I would have believed anyone if they said to me, you know, all you have to do is shoot even par for the weekend and you'll win. I definitely thought I was going to need to go out there and at least shoot a couple of under par scores. But, you know, the course in the afternoon, you know, yesterday the course was gettable pretty much all day. But today the wind was up a little bit. It was gusty. It made things definitely a little more tricky, especially on the back nine. And yeah, I just had to hang in there. You know, I did a decent range session last night and tried to figure a couple of things out. And I definitely hit my irons better today. I think I struck the ball better today overall, which was good to see. But I still needed to rely on my short game those last few holes. You know, the up and down on 16 and the up and down on 17 were huge. But yeah, just absolutely delighted to be able to get it done. You know, having a 6-shot lead going into the weekend, it would have been a bitter pill to swallow if I wasn't able to get myself over the finish line.
Rory McIlroy, a remarkable accomplishment, back-to-back Masters champion. Let's go to KMOX's Dan Reardon with more.
A year ago, Rory McIlroy left Augusta with his first green jacket and a career slam. Yesterday at the Masters, he collected his second Masters trophy, and he's now halfway to a second career slam. McIlroy stumbled early, trailed by 3 after 6 holes, but a birdie at the 7th seemed to start his engine. He added a birdie at the next, put up back-to-back birdies at 12 and 13, and never looked back with a round of 1 under 71, 12 under par. Scotty Scheffler, who was 12 back after the close of play on Friday, found his own ignition switch. He played the weekend in 133, 11 under, and fell a stroke short of McIlroy. At the Masters, Dan Reardon for KMOX Radio Sports.
It's time for our cut of the game, sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. We played a lot of Jordan Walker this morning. You know who else hit a bomb yesterday? Burley.
Burleson swings, and he drives the ball to deep center field. This has a chance. It's out of here. Up on Freeze's landing. Burleson's second home run of the year.
And the Cardinals could use that because they have not had much power outside of Jordan Walker's incredible 7 home runs on the season. Walker leads the major leagues in that category, 7 home runs. Now, as for the Cardinals, he leads them in everything right now except stolen bases. And I mean everything. Stolen bases and walks. In fact, Ivan Herrera has the second most walks in Major League Baseball at 14. J.J. Weatherholt leads the team with 3 steals. Otherwise, Walker across the board right now, hitting .327, 7 home runs, 14 RBIs. He's scored 13 runs. He's slugging .745. His OPS is 1138. It's a crazy good start to the season for Walker. He has 18 hits. The Cardinals, though, lost the game 9-3 to the Red Sox as Andre Palante was hit often. He gave up 7 runs on 10 hits, and the Cardinals will turn to Matthew Liberatore to try to get things turned around tonight. 6:45 first pitch for him against the Cleveland Guardians. Battlehawks won 34-30 over Birmingham at the Dome, came back from 10 points down twice to pick up that victory. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game. Boo! 42! You're going down, Doug! Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down. Hey! Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. The smartest way to do your homework is Ackerman Lumber.
Thinking about building a new deck? Start with the deck experts at Ackerman Lumber, home of one of the largest inventories of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. From treated lumber and cedar to all the leading names in decking, their experts will help you choose the perfect materials for your dream deck. Then finish it off with endless railing options, balusters, and LED deck lighting to bring your backyard to life. Ackerman Lumber will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Do it yourself? Their team is ready with expert advice. Need help from a pro? They can connect you with trusted local contractors. Also, check out their expanding paint department with custom color matching. And don't forget, follow Ackerman Lumber on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to catch weekly deal specials and project inspiration all season long. Or visit us at hackmanstl.com. Locations in St. Peters, Troy, and Pacific, Missouri.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:20 on this Monday morning, April 13th. I'm Brian Feldman alongside Tom Ackerman. This is Total Information AM, and let's bring in Roger Brand with the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center for a look at the roadways.
Well, it's just typically slow right now, Brian. On northbound Highway 55, you got the delays north of Richardson up to the Merrimack River, slow as you go through there. After that, you start to back up from about Bales to Weber, but it remains heavy up through Virginia on northbound 55 as you make your way into the city. A couple of heavy pockets south of Baumgartner up through Pottle on northbound Telegraph, starting to bunch up a few spots there. Northbound 270 north of 55 through Sappington is slow. Big Bend midway up between Doherty Ferry and Manchester busy, and then approaching Clayton Road up to Ladue. Those are all slow downs. Eastbound 64, Prospect midway into Lake St. Louis Boulevard's busy, a little slow past the Smokehouse and at the Interbelt. Eastbound Highway 70, you've got some heavy traffic. It's really just east of A approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Then it sorts itself out. It looks good getting across the Blanchette Bridge. And on the Illinois side, just a hint of a slowdown right now. Westbound 64 at 159 in Fairview Heights. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Weather forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. Times of sun and clouds, breezy, very warm today, a high of 86 degrees. Low 72 tonight, and tomorrow very humid with a high of 88. Right now, we're starting to get a little warmer as we go along this morning. It's 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. Well, we've talked a lot about Jordan Walker and his home run, now 7 home runs on the season. I talked to Hein Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations, about some other topics that have Cardinals fans buzzing, and that is he ready to make some moves? There are some players that are not performing up to speed. One of them would be Matt Swanson, who has struggled. He was slotted by many to be the closer in 2026. He is far from that right now. He got lit up on Saturday. The question is, can those issues be fixed here at the big league level rather than send him down to Memphis?
It certainly can. That isn't something we've talked about to this point. Obviously, you never take any options off the table, but that's not to say that that's where we think this is going, because we do have confidence that this is something that can be addressed and that you can get through. And hopefully, we're looking back later in the summer, and this was just a blip. Obviously, because of how much we wanted to be able to lean on him. It's been tough working through that. But, even last night, he was in the game the inning before and looked really good and looked encouraging. And then it kind of ran away from him. Granted, obviously, there were some things in the ninth in terms of balls in play. There's a very easy way that inning could have been over much sooner than it was, just with a couple different things happening defensively. But at the same time, obviously, there were some hard hit balls. And, that's not where he is when he's at his best. So it's something we'll keep working at.
And then we got to talk about a couple of more good things with this bullpen. The guy who is closing looks dynamite, and Riley O'Brien. He has some pitches that are darn near unhittable. Not to mention, the guy who's starting to climb a little bit is the player that you acquired in George Soriano. You and I did an event this past week with Bank of America where you really went in depth for them, which I appreciated, on a player like that and how you start to identify pitchers that you might be able to tweak and get something in your favor. And that's happened with Soriano.
Yeah, that's been really cool. And by no means are we declaring victory on this one. The game is harder than that, but it has been nice to see some early returns for our group, our whole team here, executing on a process that we talked about wanting to do more of, and something that I think we're better set up to do now than we would have been a year or two ago in terms of being able to identify a type of player, not just see past the stats to what is, which we felt even as is, he was a better pitcher than what those stats looked like last year, but see further into what could be, and not just daydreaming, but with a real plan of, okay, if we had this guy, we could try X, Y, and Z, and we could get that slider to a gyro shape, something that could be better against lefties. And, we could distinguish those two breaking balls where there was kind of muddy. He had shown the ability to throw a sweeper, which is a better pitch against right-handers, and shown some flashes of being able to throw a gyro slider. And there were also some things we were able to slow down and see in terms of seam orientation and how he was holding the baseball on a couple of his pitches where we saw some upside to make them better. Now, you don't know until you get a player if the player has the willingness and the aptitude to do that. And of course, if your coaching staff is going to be able to execute on that. But we had a plan and we had some belief in that plan. And so we stuck our necks out there a little bit to get him at the beginning of spring training to give us time to execute on that, knowing this is a player who's out of options. You can't send him to the minor leagues to go work on these things. So you want to be able to work on them during spring training as opposed to trying to do that on the fly in season to give yourself a better chance of success. And again, there's no guarantees in this. There will be ups and downs, but it's just nice in the early going to have had that plan, been able to execute on it, and now see some early rewards. Happy for him. He's been great to have as a part of this group, and also very pleased with the collaboration between our folks in uniform and our folks on the acquisition side to go out and get this guy with a plan and then put it into action.
Chaim, there are a lot of questions about catcher. You have Herrera catching today with Palante, which seems to be a nice match between those two. Pages, Pozo doesn't get a lot, but Pages has been maybe not himself so far. Now, this is part of the reason fans are clamoring for Jimmy Crooks is he got off to a very hot start. I note that he was 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts yesterday, maybe cooled off a touch. But how do you observe that situation right now, the temptation of fans to bring Crooks in and try to make a difference with this growing team?
Well, I like that it's a topic because it means that Jimmy, who is a player we think very highly of, is off to a good start and putting some pressure on our guys in the big leagues and on us to make sure we're noticing him. And that's a good thing. That's exactly what you want to see. I also think it's important to remember it's so early in the season. And usually if you react this quickly to things that are going on and you change what your plan was going in, you're probably being a little trigger happy and you're probably moving a little too quickly. But I'd much rather it be a topic from a standpoint of where Jimmy's at, obviously, and not necessarily where Pedro's at, because we know he's a better defender than some of the things that have gone on in the early going. I'm confident that will round in his shape. But, at the same time, we talked about, I think you and I talked about it last week, that we're blessed with a lot of catching talent in the minor leagues. And, it starts with Jimmy, who has been at this level and is probably the closest, but we got other guys behind him. That's awesome. It's great to have competition. We want that competition to push our players at this level and hopefully bring the best out in them. And I hope from Jimmy's standpoint that it continues to be a topic. We obviously, like I said, think highly of him. There's a ton of upside there. So if he continues to put pressure on us, hopefully he'll give us some tough decisions. And for sure, we're going to keep monitoring it and we see what he is doing.
That is Chaim Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations, every Sunday at 11:30 on KMOX. It's 7:28. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
The BizDash 5K, presented by Worldwide Technology, is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, this high-energy corporate race is St. Louis's healthiest happy hour, combining fitness, fun, and unbeatable team bonding for companies of every size. Runners and walkers of all levels are welcome. It all comes together at Energizer Park Thursday, May 7th in downtown St. Louis, an office party like no other. Create your company team today at stlbizdash.com.
Spring into green with Seidenstricker Nobe Partners. For a limited time, we have 0% financing for 84 months on John Deere 1, 2, and 3E Series compact tractor packages with prices as low as $225 a month. Plus, we'll deliver it for free. Visit snpartners.com or one of our Missouri and Illinois John Deere locations. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 4/30/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. The 9 a.m. staff meeting? How about breakfast burritos and lots of coffee? Big client presentation at noon? Let's do Mediterranean bowls. Accounting's gotta work late. Keep them pepped up with spicy noodles. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
At 7:30, we have mostly cloudy skies and 69 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We have some volume out there. Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we're getting closer to the heart of the rush hour, Tom. It's looking a little better down south right now. Northbound 55, there is a little slowdown between McNutt and Highway Z, but running up through Richardson toward 141, it's just a little slow approaching like the Church Road overpass to 141. The ramp from North 55 to North 270 is backed up. After that, you have the usual delays on 55 northbound from just north of the Union Road overpass, pretty solid up to Weber, but slow beyond that to Virginia. And North 270, once you get on from 55, you're slow to test on Ferry, north of Sappington through Gravois midway to 44, and north of 44 all the way up to Manchester. A little busy after that, approaching Ladue. That part's not as bad. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, there's just a brief slowdown at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. It looks a little busy right around Zumbo, but otherwise really pretty good run for you there. Eastbound 64 coming off 70, most of the way to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. A hint of a slowdown at Clarkson, a little backup at 170, South 170, starting to bog down for about the Parkway, at least in the left lane. 364, you've got a little slow traffic east of Bryan Road, and then Bennington up to 270. Those right lanes are busy. Westbound 64, again, barely slow at 159. It still looks great across the downtown bridges. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be pretty steamy the next couple days, like 86 degrees hot, like close to the record hot 89 set back in 1941, according to meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, warm, low of just 72. And then tomorrow, more sunshine, very warm, and it's going to be a little humid. High of 88 degrees, not far from the record of 92 set back in 2006. Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies and 68 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:32. A funeral for fallen St. Louis police officer Gregory Triplett is scheduled for this morning. The 58-year-old officer died almost 2 weeks ago after suffering a medical emergency during a training exercise. His funeral will start at 10 a.m. at Cathedral Basilica. Parts of Linda Boulevard will be closed throughout the morning for the procession.
A Wentzville firefighter whose actions were honored in the movie Breakthrough has died. The former fire captain Tommy Shine died late Sunday after suffering from cardiac arrest. Shine, known for his heroic bravery during an icy lake rescue from 2015, when he rescued a teen boy who was stuck under a frozen lake in Lake St. Louis.
John Smith had been underwater for over 10 minutes and did not have a pulse when Shine rescued him. However, after being rushed to the hospital, Smith made a full recovery. Shine was uninjured during the rescue, but lost both of his legs and part of his arms after a major heart surgery last fall. No funeral arrangements have been announced for Shine yet, but KMOX will continue to cover new details as they emerge.
The city of St. Louis suing to throw out the law putting the police department under control of a state-appointed board. Could it cost Mayor Kara Spencer her job?
It's clear that the intention was to ensure that elected officials didn't speak out against this. And I'm doing that now. We have examined it. We do recognize the risks associated with these actions.
Mayor Kara Spencer, when asked about a clause that says officials who tried to interfere with the transition of the police department to state control could face fines or even removal from office. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says he anticipates the fines would come well before a removal from office, but says the legality of that clause is questionable.
The biggest constitutional issue with this law is this idea of prohibited acts, which would include speech that could result in either fines or removal from office. That's going to face very strict constitutional scrutiny.
Mayor Spencer says she took an oath to all city workers and believes the lawsuit is in their best interest. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your Money Minute next.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. There are real things to talk about. I am amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m., and I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
Why would life-saving care require a membership? In a real emergency, are you reaching for your wallet or your phone to call 911? And what if the member helicopter isn't the closest one? What if they don't carry blood on board? What if those differences matter? They do. Arch Air Medical Service is proud to serve Effingham and surrounding communities with life-saving air medical care. Our highly trained crews deliver advanced medicine in the air because when seconds count, capability matters more than a card in your wallet. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. Worried about cost? Here's the truth. The No Surprises Act protects patients with private insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You'll only pay your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. If you have Medicare or Medicaid, similar protections apply. Providers cannot bill beyond those limits. That means no air medical membership is needed. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce.
It's spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
It is 7:37 on Total Information AM. Time now for your Money Report. It is sponsored by BUC Bank.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute.
Stocks are slipping this morning following President Trump's threat to block the Strait of Hormuz. The war is now entering its 7th week, and the spike in the price of oil threatens to prolong inflationary pressures and weigh on economic growth. U.S. crude trading at $104 a barrel. Meantime, Intel has quickly become one of the hottest stocks thanks to an 8-day surge that has added more than $100 billion in market value. The latest run of gains has been sparked by an announcement that Intel has agreed to pay more than $14 billion to buy back half of a plant in Ireland from private equity firm Apollo Global Management. Investors see the move as proof that it's making progress in its turnaround plans. And Amazon has quietly expanded its car sales business over the past year and a half. According to the Wall Street Journal, Amazon Autos is active in over 130 cities. The company started with Hyundai and has grown in recent months to include cars from Kia, Mazda, Subaru, Chevrolet, and Jeep. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sunday, April 26th is packed with fun. When the Cardinals welcome the Seattle Mariners, you can score a classic chain-stitch Cardinals hat presented by Coca-Cola. Plus, kids 12 and under receive a Fredbird Hall of Fame ring presented by the Pasta House Company. And get the chance to run the bases after the game. Giveaways, post-game fun, and Cardinals baseball all in one big Sunday showdown. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Matthew Libertor. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fredbird and games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
If you're getting close to retirement, or maybe you're just thinking about retirement more in general, you're probably thinking about, when can you retire? Will you have enough money to live on? You know, we all have retirement questions that, let's be honest, they're overwhelming and just can stress us out. But Steve All can help answer those questions so that you'll feel more confident about this next phase of your life. Check out his show, The All Financial Hour, Saturday mornings at 10 and Sunday evenings at 6. Here on KMOX.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourIDoc.com.
Today,
the Cards, the Guardians.
Aaron Total Access 550.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Before we get to that baseball weather, let's go to Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a little busier. It's not a bad Monday morning, though, Tom. This traffic reports a service of the Missouri History Museum's Route 66 Centennial Festival, April 30th through May 3rd. Northbound 55. The bulk of the volume is really from the Union overpass. It's bumper to bumper up to River Repair, then it's slow to Virginia from there. North 270 as you ramp on from 55 has slow pockets through Gravois, north of 44 to Manchester. There's another slowdown north of there up to around Clayton Road after that, not so bad. South 270, Olive Ladue busy. Eastbound 30, West Watson into 270s heavy. 44 between Bowles and Miraz looks a little slow. Eastbound 64 coming off 61 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard is heavy. Chesterfield Parkway west to Timberlake and at the Interbelt. Westbound 64 Hampton to Big Bend slow. South 170 delays at the Parkway. Eastbound 70 east of A into Bryan Road is the busiest part there. On the Illinois side, just a little slow. Westbound 64 at 159 and then right past the 70 split. Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, kids crafts, and more. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
7:42. Let's check our weather forecast. Meteorologist Joe Lundberg. It is going to be quite steamy these next couple days.
It's going to feel like we've stepped into late June, if not early July, across the area, Brian, over the next couple of days. Sun and clouds today, breezy, kind of warm and humid. Our high gets to 86. The record is within reach. It's 89, set at 1941. Partly cloudy tonight. A good evening for baseball. Breezy and warm. Game time temperature probably going to be near 80, the low 72. Clouds and sunshine tomorrow. A breezy, very warm, humid day. The high 88. Wednesday looks to be the one clunker of the week with lots of clouds, some shower and thunderstorm activity, and a threat for some severe weather. The high 78. Some sunshine Thursday. Still a risk of a shower or thunderstorm, especially early in the day. The high 81. Partly sunny Friday. The high 83. Growing chance for a thunderstorm later in the day and at night. Right now, it's 69 at St. Peter's, 70 in Florissant, and calling it partly sunny and 70 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, Joe, thanks very much. Sports coming up in 2 minutes. It's 7:43. Pope Leo has pushed back against President Trump's latest attack.
I'm Vicky Barker at the Foreign Desk in London.
Blessed are the peacemakers.
Blessed are the peacemakers. Pope Leo traveling to a papal appearance in Algeria, insisting his message of peace and reconciliation is rooted in the gospel, suggesting Donald Trump's social media post calling him a terrible liberal pope who wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon was based on a failure to understand that gospel. Leo insisting he doesn't want to debate or attack anyone, but that he will continue to speak out for innocent victims of war and violence. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
Pakistan hopes to bring the U.S. and Iran back to the negotiating table in search of a durable peace deal between the two nations. This after the weekend talks ended with no deal. More from CBS's Imitaz Tayyib in Islamabad.
The Pakistani officials that we've been speaking to say that they are appealing to both Washington and Tehran to come back to the table, saying that this is no longer the Islamabad talks, but the Islamabad process, that they believe that this could be a multi-meeting process which will eventually lead to some kind of meaningful deal.
There's been a seismic political shift in Hungary.
I'm Vicky Barker at the Foreign Desk in London. Young Hungarians burst into song on a Budapest subway train, celebrating opposition leader Peter Magyar's landslide victory over Viktor Orban and his Christian nationalist Fidesz party. Filthy Fidesz, they're chanting, and Russians go home, a reference to Orban's courting of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Orban defeated after 16 years despite strong support from President Trump. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
Covering his 134th major, KMOX senior golf editor Dan Reardon in Augusta at the Masters.
When you're 36 and have achieved most of your goals in the game, you need to find new mountains to climb. Yesterday at Augusta National, Rory McIlroy began the ascent. McIlroy rallied from 3 strokes back in the middle of the round, and his 12 under total makes him the 4th player, along with Nicklaus, Woods, and Faldo, to win back-to-back Masters. Rory now needs wins in the 2 Opens, and he will join Nicklaus and Woods with 2 career slams. His 6th major win ties Faldo for most majors from Europe in the modern era. Scotty Scheffler gave McIlroy too great a head start during the week, and rounds of 65-68 on the weekend left him alone in second, 1 behind McIlroy. At the Masters, Dan Reardon for KMOX Radio Sports.
It's pretty amazing what's happening to number 18, the Cardinals right fielder.
Leo's pitch is swung on, and there's a high fly ball. That's hit to deep left center field. Back to the track, the wall. It's a goner. Walker hits a home run to get the Cardinals on the board. An 8-game hitting streak was 6 home runs out of his 12 hits.
And 7 total home runs. He is the co-leader in Major League Baseball. Jordan Walker, an incredible performance so far this season as the Cardinals chopped into the Red Sox lead, but it was short-lived.
The 1-2 pitch is a hit in the air to center field, and on the run is Victor Scott. He's not going to get it. It's over his head, and it goes to the wall, and that's going to clear the bases as there's a play at the plate, but it's not in time. A 3-run double, a backbreaker by Jaron Duran into left center, and it's now 6-1 Boston.
Red Sox went on to win it 9-3 at Busch Stadium. Andre Palante gave up 7 runs on 10 hits. Manager Ollie Marmol.
Yeah, it's tough to see the line with the 7 spot on him. I mean, I think we didn't help defensively behind him on a couple plays there, and then Duran got him for a really nice swing to cash in on those runs. But a couple double play balls there that I think the inning looks different if we're able to execute. But yeah.
It's more or less kind of always going to be the danger with him, right? On the days where the defense maybe doesn't give you everything you need just because of the amount of contact, it has the risk of piling up a little bit on him.
Yeah, we've experienced that. I mean, he pitches to contact. You have to make plays behind him, limit the walks in order to have a good outing. Today, I don't think we did that well enough. Yeah.
He is a contact pitcher, no doubt about it. Andre Palante takes the L, and the Cardinals start a new series with a 6:45 first pitch tonight for Matthew Liberatore against the Cleveland Guardians. Here are the starters for this series. Liberatore tonight, Michael McGreevy tomorrow night, and the day game on Wednesday will be Dustin May. That'll be Jackie Robinson Day at Busch Stadium and across Major League Baseball. The Battlehawks with a 34-30 win yesterday at the Dome over the Birmingham Stallions. St. Louis came back from 10-point deficits twice to pick up that victory at the Dome. It's time for our parlay of the day. It's sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. When you open up the Circa Sports app, you're going to find an array of opportunities, and I'm looking at the play-in tournament in the NBA. I think that the Suns at home -4, the Hornets at home -5.5, the Warriors on the road against the Clippers +4.5, and then the fourth game is the Magic and the 76ers. The Magic just lost to the Celtics bench. This is an embarrassing loss. Magic needed to win it to get out of this play-in situation. And as it turned out, they're going to play at Philadelphia, and they could have with a win at Boston. And Boston, again, benched everybody, including Jason Tatum. Still beat them. I'm taking the Sixers on a pick 'em there. So that's my parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circa Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circasports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circa Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
With younger homeowners, and happened to be with my little boy. He was looking at purchasing homes. This house had a 20-plus-year-old furnace and air conditioner. And, of course, my advice was never buy a house with that old of an air conditioner. You will be buying a new one. And he goes, well, how much does a new one cost? For his size home, total figure tens of thousands to over $20,000. If you're looking at a house, my personal opinion is make sure it's a newer unit. If not, request buyers to put in a newer unit. It makes it easier on your 15 or 30-year mortgage if it's included in the loan. Just my piece of advice for that. But if you're hearing this after the fact and you do need a new air conditioner, sorry to hear that, but call me, Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest of numbers. It is 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. God bless.
Calling all runners. Register now for the Cardinals 5K on Saturday, April 18th, and you can take a victory lap on the field at Busch Stadium. Don't miss this chance to bring the whole family for a fun St. Louis 5K race that brings fans together to support kids in the community. The Cardinals 5K, Saturday, April 18th. Register now at cardinals.com/5K. And for more information, just head to kmox.com/events.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:51. Let's check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're traveling up 55, Brian, things look pretty good. There's a little bit of a slowdown coming through McNutt further down to the south, but after that, it's clear sailing to get up around the Union Road overpass. Then there's stop-and-go pockets from there through Virginia. North 270 as you ramp on from 55 through Gravois, just generally slow. 44 all the way up to Ladou's busy. South 270, a couple of spots where it's bogged down from 364 down to Ladue. Eastbound Highway 70 drivers, east of K through TR Hughes, the only real slowdown for you there. Eastbound 64 coming off 61 toward Lake St. Louis Boulevard's a little busy from Chesterfield Parkway west to almost Timberlake. It gets busy again, slowed down east of Lindbergh, jam briefly at the Interbelt. South 170 busier now from Delmar to 64, westbound 64 approaching Hampton out through Big Bend. That is kind of heavy. Eastbound 44 just a little slow east of Bowles and around Laclede Station. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 at 159 slow, and we have a crash westbound 64 at the 70 split, so 64 is jammed just west of 25th Street to that, but after that, it's good to cross the Poplar. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says a humid day tomorrow. Warm today, high 86, low 72 tonight, high of 88 with those humid conditions tomorrow. Currently, it's 68 downtown.
The news continues at 7:53. Global markets have been reacting to the latest developments in the Gulf.
I'm Vicki Barker in London. Oil prices have jumped back above $100 a barrel on the failure of yesterday's peace talks and President Trump's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Brent crude is up nearly 7% at $101 a barrel. U.S. crude up more than 8% to $104 a barrel.
The average price per gallon for gas in the St. Louis region is $4.02 today. Gas Buddy says that average is almost 5 cents more expensive than last week, almost 61 cents higher than a month ago, and $1 higher than this time a year ago. The national average price of diesel is up 4 cents and currently sits around $5.06 per gallon. Head of Petroleum Analysis at Gas Buddy, Patrick DeHaan, says prices are likely to spike again unless there is a major breakthrough in the Strait of Hormuz.
American families feeling the financial strain of raising children.
A new CBS poll finds that 77% of respondents believe it's harder to raise a family today than it was for previous generations. A LendingTree study found many parents were unprepared for the added costs, with some going into debt to pay for childcare and other expenses. For the first time, the cost of raising a child through their 18th birthday has climbed to more than $300,000, according to LendingTree. Missouri is less at $261,000. To get that number, they added up everything from clothing and food to health insurance premiums, then subtracted tax incentives and credits. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
The case Attorney General Catherine Hanaway filed against insulin pharmacy benefit managers is in its early stages. Hanaway accuses these middlemen of fixing the price far too high.
And just as an example, in Missouri, a dose of insulin costs about $400. In Europe, it costs $5.
Hanaway says mom and pop pharmacies are underwater when it comes to insulin. The price they pay for the drug is not what insurance is reimbursing.
The Attorney General of Missouri also launching a statewide investigation into companies operating cryptocurrency kiosks. Catherine Hanaway says they're charging ridiculous fees.
We have pretty strong evidence that these are just total scams and that you aren't buying anything of value, but that you are just putting your money in a box that somebody will come pick up later.
Hanaway says they often target elderly who get a call from a bank saying they should immediately transfer money to a loved one who needs it.
Missouri wants to hear your voice as it considers changes to deer hunting rules in the state. A change this coming deer season, if reviewed, would reduce non-resident antlered buck bag limits from 2 down to 1. Another change for the 2027 deer season would require all non-resident deer hunters to get a permit for $165. That permit would allow out-of-state hunters to pursue, take, possess, and transport deer on public land in Missouri.
MDC says the number of non-resident deer hunters hit 42,000 last year. That's just under 10% of the state's deer hunting population. Public comments welcome through April 20th on MDC's Contact and Engage webpage.
It's 7:56.
I'm Maria Kina. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Banner Construction since 1993, bannerconstruction.com. The phone number 314-569-1050. 314-569-1050. It's important to keep the number because Banner Construction, the best in the business, is the one you're going to turn to when you don't want to cut corners, when you don't want, look, we all want the lowest price, but this is your home. This is your biggest life investment. Please be careful when it comes to people who tell you they can do it for a very low price. It's likely that they're not experienced like Banner. It's important to choose an experienced expert like Banner to make sure the job is done beautifully. Exterior home restoration is done by Banner Construction. They know how much you love your home, and their goal is to make you fall in love with it all over again. Make the right choice. Call Banner Construction for a free in-home consultation. 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Beat the spring cleaning rush at Zero Res this week. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 and whole system air duct cleaning for just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com to book your appointment. That's ZeroResSTL.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Roger Brand, you're in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we have a backup northbound 55 north of McNutt across the Joachim Creek. After that, from Bayless up through Virginia is pretty heavy. North 270, a couple of slow spots approaching Tesson Ferry through Gravois, Big Bend. Headed up to Manchester, Clayton Road up to 64, eastbound 64 coming through Clarkson to Timberlake and east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt's heavy. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Megan Lynch is coming up after the 8 o'clock news. It's 68 degrees and sunny in downtown St. Louis. The founder of a St. Louis marketing company offers transparency about failure. Megan will talk with Aaron Perlett after the news. Missouri health officials have new warnings about a synthetic opioid. What's next for NASA? We'll learn more from Dr. Jeffrey Gillis of WashU. And the banking sector is nervous about Anthropic's new AI platform. We'll hear the latest from CBS News tech contributor Ian Scherer.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. It'll be breezy and very warm today with a mix of sun and clouds, high 86.
It's 8 o'clock.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump says the Navy will begin the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz in an hour from now. It comes after peace talks broke down Saturday.
I think Iran is in very bad shape. I think they're very desperate. We had a meeting that lasted 21 hours. We understand the situation better than anybody, and Iran's in very bad shape.
Correspondent Imtiaz Tayyab reports from the site of the negotiations, Islamabad.
The Pakistani officials that we've been speaking to say that they are appealing to both Washington and Tehran to come back to the table, saying that this is no longer the Islamabad talks, but the Islamabad process, that they believe that this could be a multi-meeting process which will eventually lead to some kind of meaningful deal.
Pope Leo says he will not back down in the face of criticism from President Trump over his anti-war stance.
Let us remember that God desires peace for every nation, a peace that is not merely an absence of conflict, but one that is an expression of justice and dignity.
First American-born Pope speaking in Algeria today.
Peter Magyar is calling on Hungary's president to convene his nation's parliament to form a new government quickly and allow him to take over as prime minister after Viktor Orban's 16-year rule.
I'm Vicki Barker at the Foreign Desk in London. Analyst Yanis Emanuelidis says ousted populist Prime Minister Viktor Orban wasn't just pushing Hungary away from liberal democracy. He was actively trying to push other European countries closer to Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin.
So the fact that he has now lost and lost strongly, despite the support which he received very openly from the U.S., but also covertly from others, including Russia, is a strong sign.
A sign, he says, of possible voter disenchantment with populist leadership styles.
Now to the Bahamas and the case of Lynette Hooker, the Michigan woman who disappeared more than a week ago during a boat ride with her husband. CBS News has obtained texts she sent to an acquaintance. Correspondent Christian Benavidez from Freeport.
These messages show that Lynette had confided in a friend back in 2024 about issues in her marriage, telling that friend that they had, quote, called it quits before getting back together.
New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani has announced plans to make good on a campaign promise to open city-owned grocery stores. He says the first one will cost about $30 million and open by the end of 2027 in East Harlem.
At our stores, eggs will be cheaper. Bread will be cheaper. Grocery shopping will no longer be an unsolvable equation.
This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
At 8:03, we have partly cloudy skies, 69 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, April 13th. I'm Megan Lynch. A pedestrian is dead after being hit by a freight train in Troy, Illinois over the weekend. Officials say the individual was lying on the tracks when the train approached and attempted to stand but was unable to before being hit by the train. The Riverbender reports the victim's name has not yet been released, as Madison County Sheriff did not find any form of identification at the scene. St. Louis City Police say they stopped a potential street takeover last night. Officers shut down what they called a pre-party at Fairground Park. According to a Facebook post, police say one gun equipped with a switch was seized. They warn residents not to participate in the takeovers. A Wentzville firefighter whose actions were honored in the movie Breakthrough has died. The former fire captain Tommy Shine died late last night after suffering from cardiac arrest. Shine, known for his heroic bravery during an icy lake rescue from 2015 when a teen boy was stuck under a frozen lake in Lake St. Louis. John Smith had been underwater for more than 10 minutes and did not have a pulse when Shine rescued him. After being rushed to the hospital, Smith made a full recovery. Shine was uninjured during the rescue, but lost both of his legs and parts of his arms after undergoing heart surgery last fall. No funeral arrangements have been announced for Shine yet, but KMOX will continue to cover new details as they emerge. A funeral for fallen St. Louis police officer Gregory Tiplett scheduled for this morning. The 58-year-old officer died almost 2 weeks ago after suffering a medical emergency during a training exercise. His funeral will start at 10 a.m. this morning at Cathedral Basilica. Parts of Lindell Boulevard will be closed throughout the morning for that procession. St. Louis City suing the state and board of police commissioners, seeking to regain control of the department, or at least its budget. Why didn't they force the board to sue them?
Mayor Kara Spencer was asked at a press conference why they don't just give the departments their budget allocation and force them to sue the city if they want to receive their higher budget request. That could prove problematic for Spencer and other city officials if they tried that, says KMOX legal analyst Brad Young. He says there's a clause in the bill shifting control to a state-appointed board that punishes officials for hindering the transition.
Those prohibited acts include forcibly resisting or obstructing enforcement. It also involves dispersing or failing to disperse money as directed by the police board.
And the consequences could be severe.
Either penalties, which are monetary fines, or even up to disqualification from office.
The mayor was asked about this clause and if she was concerned the lawsuit could cost her her job. She says the law is designed to discourage pushback and acknowledges she is taking a risk. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
4 new council members will be sworn in at tonight's Festus City Council meeting. The turnover comes after 3 of the 4 ousted incumbents voted in favor of a controversial data center. Efforts to stop the project have continued. A lawsuit filed against the city of Festus and CRG, the data center's developer. At polling places throughout the city, Festus residents also collected signatures for a recall of officials. The mayor, Sam Richards, says he has already signed a contract with CRG. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says his state is a national leader in protecting and expanding local news coverage. He held a summit of journalists Friday in Chicago.
There is no computer, there is no artificial intelligence or algorithm that can replace a good human reporter that knows and lives in their community.
Pritzker said in 2025, the state's Journalism Sustainability Tax Incentive Program provided $4 million worth of tax credits to 58 Illinois news agencies employing 600 journalists. They look just like ATMs, but they're cryptocurrency kiosks. Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says she doesn't even think those people who operate convenience stores or gas stations know what they are.
I don't have anything against the crypto industry. What people should know is if you want to invest in crypto, do it through a reputable source. Do it through an Edward Jones broker, buy a Fidelity fund, something like that.
Hanna says sometimes the fees are 100% of the cash you put in. From the KMOX business desk, an office building in downtown Clayton could be converted to a 150-room hotel. The Business Journal reports the 11-story building at 200 South Hanley Road. Development plans show it could get another story addition and a new restaurant, bar, and cafe, and administrative office to support the hotel. The development proposal was submitted to the city this morning. It's 8:08, traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
If you need a garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of your choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I opened a restaurant and needed everything. Menus, signage, catering brochures.
Everything and then some.
I went to Staples. They printed it all and even suggested takeout menus.
One money pit with a side of fries.
But now at Staples, you get up to $125 off custom print orders.
$125 off. Now you're cooking. Brand your business in a big way at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in store, online, or in the app by 4/18 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10, let's find out where the slowdowns are. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're getting better in some spots, Megan, like down south on 55. If you're traveling northbound right now, you've got a good run going coming up from the Festus area. There are no delays until you get really up to about Bayless. Bayless up through Virginia is still pretty busy. Northbound 270, approaching Gravois midway to 44, and there are pockets from 44 all the way up to Ladue. It opens up every once in a while. South 270, though, is pretty well thinned out through there. Eastbound Highway 70, that looks great coming out of St. Charles County. I don't see any delays all the way into the city. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 out west is fine. It's a little slow in the right lanes east of Mason to 270 and Lindbergh in through the inner belt. They were just clearing an incident we had near Big Bend. Westbound 64 backed up Hampton out to that point, though. South 170 still slow between Delmar and Ladue down to 64. Eastbound 44, just a little slow down coming around the bend, Southwest Avenue, Hampton area. And on the Illinois side, they cleared that incident as well. Westbound 64th to 70 split. It's now just slow from the split to about 3rd Street. After that, it's clear headed across the Poplar. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A mix of sun and clouds today. A breezy, very warm day. High 86. The record 89 was set in 1941. Partly cloudy tonight. Breezy and warm. Low just 72. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sunshine. A breezy, very warm and rather humid day. The high 88. Wednesday, more clouds than sun. Breezy and not as warm. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. The high 78. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Partly cloudy skies this morning, 69 degrees in Florissant. We have 70 degrees in St. Peters and 69 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. I read a really honest account of failure last week. It was posted on a company's blog by one of its founders. Aaron Perlett is partner at Elasticity, a digital marketing and branding agency headquartered in St. Louis, and joins me this morning to talk about that blog. Aaron, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. I saw this. You'd posted this on LinkedIn, and you posted it on the company's blog talking about your own personal failures. I thought it was really incredibly transparent, and it really spoke to me. You wrote that failure informed me in ways that years of success never could. Tell us the story of this post.
Yeah, it's funny. The people who I trust least are the ones who always want to tell you how normal they are. We all fail, and it's just that many of us are very uncomfortable talking about it. And I have found that the times that I have failed have helped me grow much more so than the times where I've been successful. And I hope that I've been successful more than I failed, but quite frankly, I don't know because I don't keep score. And I think I was referring in the piece you mentioned, I was referring to a time where I was meeting with the board of a client of mine, and they were being very critical of our budget and our approach. And I would say that I let my emotions get away from me and responded in a less than diplomatic way. And ultimately, it led to us losing the business, losing a tremendous amount of monthly and annual revenue. And it was one of, kind of a handful of experiences that I went through that in a compressed period of time that made me realize that I'd also, I think, a kind of a subtext to this is that I had quit drinking, or I was, I hadn't quit drinking yet. This was a couple months before I quit drinking. But, after I did, I think a few months later, I looked back on that experience and I realized that the feelings that had led me to react in that manner were kind of driving behaviors that might have been intertwined with the alcoholism that had led me to the drinking piece of it. And so it just led me down kind of a long road of exploration of my behaviors. And so that failure played a kind of a critical role in me kind of growing professionally, emotionally, and I'm sure many other ways.
I'm sure there are so many people listening right now that can relate. And the question that I have about this, I can relate to this. Did you own this right away, or did it take some time for you to sort out that experience?
I think I knew that I had made the mistake pretty quickly, that it was my fault. And it was more about not necessarily what I said, but how I had said it. The manner in which I had displayed those emotions were just unprofessional. And so I think I knew that I had made the mistake, but I didn't really understand what was driving it. I think my wife is a healthcare practitioner. If there's one thing she's taught me, is something that I've seen a lot of healthcare practitioners fail at, is that oftentimes we treat the symptom and not the cause. And so often, sometimes you got to look beneath. It's great to say, oh, that person is this because he behaved this way, but what's underneath that? And, I think about that with our team, with people who I've managed over the years, with friends of mine that might act in a way that I don't particularly like. Instead of jumping to some type of snap conclusion, what I try to do is I try to think about the underlying causes. I remember many, many years ago, I was speaking with a therapist, and he was talking about how, when we drive and someone's in front of us, not going, say, the speed we'd like to go, all we want to do is just say, well, they're the worst driver in the world, instead of saying, well, maybe there's something underlying this. Maybe they got in a really bad accident 6 months ago, and so they're kind of gripped by fear. We never really understand kind of what's the causation of the behaviors. And so for me, I really wanted to go and look at the cause. And so that took me about a year to really dig deep into. And I think a lot of us are very quick to just say, I screwed up once, or I made this mistake. But sometimes, particularly if it's a repetitive issue, I think we need to look a little bit deeper and determine, A, is it something that we caused ourselves or we played a role in? And B, is there something beyond just what's on the surface?
Is there a risk to being transparent and honest about a failure, especially in a business like yours where you're in the business of branding?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a highly subjective thing. Look at the political space. We have this kind of strange dichotomy of people that are willing to admit failure and people that aren't. And there's a very strategic way sometimes that people approach not admitting failure, because they feel like it makes them look weak. And so there can be the perception that you're weak, or you're not as strategic as say a business partner would like you to. So yeah, there certainly is. And so I think it's a personal choice. And for me, I truly believe that owning failure is an important part of growth. I respect people who own their failures, who truly own their failures. If you look at public opinion, typically, think about athletes that have had drug problems or other kind of problems, that the ones that were willing to come out and say, I made a mistake, they usually got a hall pass. And the ones that kind of hit it, think about Mark McGuire. Everybody knew he was on steroids, but he wouldn't admit it for years and years and years and years. And it really upset a lot of people because everyone knew what was going on. And it unfortunately really tarnished his reputation.
We've got about a minute left. I know I wanted to mention, this kind of plays into a book that you have coming out in next month, I guess it is, called The Death of Compromise. Is this what you're seeing in politics right now?
Certainly. I think we've seen it in politics for many, many years, beginning probably, it was something we started seeing kind of in the 80s and the 90s, where people didn't refuse to admit failure. But the bigger problem in politics is that we've become so frozen by the extremes of the right and the left that somehow the middle compromise has become a dirty word. And so nothing gets done, and we're left in a kind of a subpar union of what was kind of once a great country, because we can't have grown-ups that can simply just meet in the middle and compromise on issues. Someone's always got to win. And that's just not life. No one ever really wins. They don't get their own way completely. And that's okay, because that's what's great about kind of diversity of thinking, is that it creates kind of this soft middle where we all come in and kind of add things to a solution. And so, The Death of Compromise, it's more of a historical look at the last 60 years that traces the trigger points as to how we've gotten to where we are now, where we have people murdering political figures like Charlie Kirk or the two Minnesota the two Minnesota legislators who were shot a couple months before him, and it really analytically traces how we've gotten to where we are. And I was very fortunate to speak to people like John Danforth and Tom Daschle and some other folks that have served in Washington and elsewhere.
Well, we'll have to have you back on when that's released to talk
I'd
more
love
about
to.
it. All right. Thank you. That is Aaron Perlett. He is founder of Elasticity, joining us this morning here on KMOX. Coming up, we're going to talk about how Missouri health officials have some new warnings about a synthetic opioid. First, though, let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're trying to wrap up that minor crash, Megan, on Highway 64. This traffic reports a service to the Missouri Book Festival, April 18th in Washington, Missouri. It's westbound 64 at Hanley. Right between the exit lanes and the through lanes. It's the right through lane of westbound 64 that's blocked. A flatbed's on the scene, but we're jammed back past Hampton solidly on westbound Highway 64. Eastbound 64, you still got a little slowdown. It's actually 141 to Maryville Center, then it's slow just east of Lindbergh through past Hanley and Big Bend. South 170 bogged down at the Parkway. Northbound 270, a little busy at Gravois. Big Bend up to Ladue, the primary slowdown there. Northbound 55, you've got heavy traffic from Bayless up through Holly Hills. After that, it sorts itself out. Westbound 70 looks a little slow coming around the bend through West Florissant and Shreve. Next update at bring your family and friends out to the Missouri Book Festival on Saturday, April 18th in Washington, Missouri. You'll enjoy cooking demos, live theater, book talks, storytelling, and more, featuring authors from Missouri and beyond. Visit MissouriBookFestival.com for details. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a mix of sun and clouds today. Breezy, very warm. We're expecting a high of 86. Right now, we have partly cloudy skies, 69 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
If you think fentanyl is the most dangerous drug Missouri is dealing with right now, health leaders say there's something even stronger showing up across the state. Nitazene's a powerful synthetic opioid now being detected statewide often without users realizing it. Missouri Net's Matt Pelger spoke with Dr. Heidi Miller, Chief Medical Officer for the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, about what Missouri officials are seeing and why they're concerned.
Nitazines are a group of opioid compounds that are extremely addictive. It is an emerging new category, and it's laced into our illicit drug supply and can potentially cause really severe overdose and death.
How does the threat from nitazines kind of compare to fentanyl, which Missourians are kind of familiar with, I believe?
As you know, fentanyl is much, much stronger than morphine, and our country and our state has experienced really tragic overdose deaths from fentanyl use. Unfortunately, nitazines are 5 to 10 times more potent than fentanyl. What that means is that it actually takes very little to have an enormous effect. It makes it very easy to ship it into the United States, and then just a few sprinkles or even just a granule about the size of a salt grain may be enough to make someone very sick, overdose, and die.
Officials are kind of saying nitazines are showing up in counterfeit pills and vapes. How realistic is it that the risk that teens could ingest those unknowingly?
Few people know that they are ingesting nitazine. Because it's so potent, it takes very, very little of it to have an effect. And it has been detected in counterfeit Percocet, Vicodin, benzodiazepines. It has even been detected in unregulated vape liquids, synthetic cannabis. Basically, the reason why this detection is so important is that most people that are being exposed to nitazines may not even know it. They either think they're taking something else, or they don't think that they're taking an opioid at all. And what that means is that we have to reinvigorate this vigilance around opioid use disorder treatment and rescue. For example, if someone has passed out, they're unconscious, and it's unclear whether or not they've taken something or not taken something, we need to reactivate and increase public awareness of the power of naloxone, which is also known as the brand name Narcan, to rescue that person. As you know, that's a nasal spray, or sometimes it comes as an injection. The public has been educated to use naloxone to save the lives of people who have overdosed from opioids. But there's a couple important things about this nitazine alert. Number one, some people may not even know that they were exposed to opioids. Number two, nitazines are really potent, and they're very sticky in the morphine receptor, which means that not only do overdose victims need to have naloxone, they may need several doses, one after another, if the patient is not responding.
That's Missouri Department of Health Chief Medical Officer Dr. Heidi Miller. It's now 8:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, this is Tom Ackerman. Here's something that most people don't realize about estate planning. The documents alone aren't enough. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm here in St. Louis for over 20 years, and one of the things I really appreciate is that I don't just work with one person, I work with a team. I've dealt with several different people at Lederman Law Firm over the years, and you can tell right away it's a true team, from lawyers to paralegals to legal assistants. Everyone knows the plan. Everyone is working towards the same goal. You never feel like you're being handed off or forgotten. Their dedicated funding team makes sure our assets and beneficiaries are actually lined up with our plan, our accounts, our property, all of it working together the way it's supposed to. That is the Lederman Law Firm, a team that walks you through the process asset by asset, and we trust them. The Lederman Law Firm, ledermanlaw.com, or call 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave Glover. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free and 24 months with no payments or interest, plus $500 off. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
8:31. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the good news, they cleared that crash we had, Megan, on westbound 64 at Hanley. Lanes are back open. If you're on westbound 64, it's still backed up. Not quite as bad, but the Science Center headed out through about Bellevue. Eastbound 64, you've still got slow traffic from Lindbergh to Big Bend, South 170 around the Parkway. If you're on northbound 270, Big Bend all the way up through 64 is busy. Northbound at 55, you've got slow traffic from about Bayless, goes all the way up through Virginia. After that, it sorts itself out. Eastbound 64 and 70 out west coming in from Wentzville. Fine, it's just a little slow eastbound 70 at Earth City. And we're still clear downtown westbound across the Poplar and Musel Veterans Bridges. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Want a new home in Cottleville? Check out Cottleville Trails by McKelvey Homes. Take a golf cart or walk to downtown Cottleville. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today to learn more about the incredible homes in Cottleville Trails and move up to McKelvey.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's going to be a warm day today. Breezy, mix of sun and clouds, a high 86 degrees. Partly cloudy, breezy, and warm. We'll only get down to a low of 72 degrees tonight. Right now, partly sunny, 69 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Pakistan hopes to bring the U.S. and Iran back to the negotiating table in search of a durable peace between the two nations. This after weekend talks ended with no deal. More from CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb in Islamabad.
The Pakistani officials that we've been speaking to say that they are appealing to both Washington and Tehran to come back to the table, saying that this is no longer the Islamabad talks, but the Islamabad process, that they believe that this could be a multi-meeting process which will eventually lead to some kind of meaningful deal.
President Trump now says the U.S. Navy will stop ships leaving Iran's ports. Samantha Vinograd is a CBS News national security contributor and former assistant secretary for counterterrorism at the Department of Homeland Security. She spoke with CBS Mornings about the talks and says this comes with risk.
We should not expect Iran to take this laying down if the blockade is implemented. They may choose to respond with capabilities like cyber and physical attacks if the United States does escalate with this naval blockade.
Meanwhile, global markets have been reacting to the latest developments in the Gulf.
I'm Vicki Barker in London. Oil prices have jumped back above $100 a barrel on the failure of yesterday's peace talks and President Trump's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Brent crude is up nearly 7% at $101 a barrel. U.S. crude up more than 8% to $104 a barrel.
President Trump says the U.S. blockade of Iran's ports and partial blockade of the Strait of Hormuz will begin at 9 a.m. this morning. Your Money Report next.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
In digital advertising, everyone talks about clicks, but clicks don't pay the bills. Sales do. Outcomes from Viant is a new way to advertise that prioritizes your bottom line. Our AI-driven technology looks past the noise to find the customers most likely to buy your product. It's smarter, faster, and designed for real-world results. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Energy markets have been upended by the war in the Middle East. Higher prices are threatening to stoke inflation while slowing economic growth. There has been an urgent scramble among refiners and traders around the world for immediately available oil supplies. Now the U.S. is vowing to blockade vessels passing through the Strait of Hormuz following the failed peace talks this weekend. Meantime, shares of Goldman Sachs taking a hit. The company's bond, currency, and commodities trading businesses missed Wall Street expectations. This is weighing on financial rivals JP Morgan and Citigroup, which are lower in early trading. And a deal that might help Wall Street relax a bit. The company behind Tempur Sealy, a mattress firm, is buying a manufacturer of some of the key components in mattresses, car seats, and recliners. Somni Group International is purchasing Leggett & Platt in a deal worth about $2.5 billion. The merger is expected to close by the end of the year. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Tom Ackerman here for Tim and Tom Gamma and Gamma Tree Experts and their father, Frank, who's going to be 91 this year. That means that he started this business back when he was a teenager. Gamma Tree Experts back in 1954. What a great company. What a great run they've had. Gamma Tree Experts. GammaTree.com. You can find storm damage. You can find emerald ash borer treatment. Tree trimming and limbs are going to be hanging over parts of your home that you don't want them to when those storms come through. Have Gamma Tree Experts come over, identify the issue, and take care of it right away. They're the best in the business, no question about it. They've been handling homes and businesses in St. Louis for years. All you have to do is go to GammaTree.com to get yourself started and read all about the great things that they do for homes and businesses and municipalities around the area. GammaTree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills, and we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Step into a world of mystery and beauty with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in From Mozart to Wagner, Mysticism and Wonder. Conductor Hannu Lintu leads a luminous weekend from Wagner's shimmering Lohengrin prelude to the grandeur of Respighi's church windows. Pianist Jan Lisiecki makes his SLSO debut to perform one of Mozart's spellbinding piano concertos April 18th and 19th at Powell Hall. Tickets at slso.org.
Is your financial advisor working more for your retirement or for his? Find out the real story behind the financial industry with Greg Ayler, Saturdays at 1 on Fire Your Financial Advisor.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. On Sunday, President Trump went to Truth Social to say that Pope Leo is, quote, weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. In response, the Pope told reporters, quote, I will not shy away from announcing the message of the gospel, close quote. The iPod undergoing a revival with secondhand sales surging, young people in particular drawn to its retro look and the focused music experience it offers free from smartphone distractions. And Greece has become the latest European Union country to unveil plans for a total social media ban for kids 15 and under. Let's get the latest on your ride into work with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, things are looking a lot better out there. This traffic report's a service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. We just have slow traffic now, north 270, pretty much Big Bend up to 64 Ladue, eastbound 64 Lindbergh into Big Bend's heavy. South 170, that's a backup from about the Parkway down to 64, primarily left lane. Westbound 64, just slow now Hampton headed out to Big Bend where we had that earlier crash. Just a little busy North 55 Bayless Weber area, and there's a little roadwork slowdown eastbound 270 between Lilac and Riverview up north as well. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Coming up, we're going to look at the impact of the Artemis 2 moon mission. First, a check of the forecast for today. It's going to be a hot one, a high of 86. That could get close to a record of 89 set back in 1941. Tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, and warm. An overnight low, 72. Right now, we've got 70 degrees, partly sunny skies downtown at the Arch.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Artemis 2 astronauts splashed down Friday night, returning to Earth after a record-setting trip around the moon. Back with me in studio, Dr. Jeffrey Gillis, research professor of physics at Washington University. Good morning and welcome back.
Good morning, Megan. Look forward to hearing your questions today.
Well, I'm really curious, what's this mean for NASA that this was so successful?
That means they can move forward. If there were any critical problems, it would be a huge setback, but everything worked out really well. And, the astronauts have come back and really brought that enthusiasm and fire with them. And that will serve to really bring the Artemis program, forward and hitting that mark of Artemis 3 in 2027 or so.
I feel like a lot of us were waiting for something to happen. I mean, it's just incredible what they're able to do. But on a number of missions over the decades, we've seen problems pop up. This one seemed relatively problem-free. Can we expect that going forward?
Well, space is risky. It's a harsh environment. You never know what's going to happen. We thought Apollo 13 would be just another routine mission, and it turned out it was very not. But like Apollo 13 showed us and other missions, you have failure, but it's how you get through it and over it and persevere. So yeah, there are going to be stumbling blocks ahead. These are complex mission. For Artemis 3 and 4, they're going to be trying out more new hardware, new navigation, new rendezvous tactics. So there are going to be problems, and it's just what has happened. How do we get around it and get through it and then think the problem through? And luckily, we have a lot of wonderful, smart engineer and scientists who are on board.
Like you, with the research that you've been doing and the instruments that you have been working on. I want to get into what's up next, but I'm curious from your perspective watching this, especially the images on the far side of the moon. Was there anything that you keyed in on or noticed that's relevant to the work you do?
They were pretty far from the moon, about 4,000 kilometers. They did have great cameras, and they were seeing, from a human perspective, the far side of the moon where we haven't seen it with human eyes before, because with Apollo, that was the dark side. It was at night, so they didn't quite see it as well. But, it's great to see some of the impact flash data. So they're seeing actual craters happening in real time, and that was really interesting. I didn't think they would see as many as they had. And I was really taken back by the naming, or the potential naming, of Reed Weissman's late wife. That was really touching that they proposed that name to the IAU, and we'll see if hopefully it will get named.
Tell us a little bit about the work that you do, and the involvement that you have had with NASA and working as a scientist on some of their missions.
So over time, my role has changed and evolved. I started out really studying the moon through a remote sensing perspective and a global perspective, finding out reasons why the face looks so different between the near side and far side. They're the dark volcanic deposits that you can see nicely on the near side, but on the far side, they're very few. So I first started trying to understand what was going on there, but there was always this problem of something called space weathering. So the moon doesn't have an atmosphere like Earth, doesn't have a magnetic field, so nothing to protect it. So it's getting hit by these micrometeorites, some of which the astronauts saw. And a lot of these are just dust-sized particles. When you see a meteor shower here on Earth, those are just little dust-sized particles from probably an ancient comet that has come through. and left a trail of dust, and it's coming in so fast, just like the Artemis 2, returning. They're going about 25,000 miles an hour. When they come through, they make that light event called a meteor. So I've been studying that for the last 10 years or so, and how that can actually create some of the water that we might see at the poles of the moon. So it's a nice kind of comeback to looking at the surface and looking at samples.
So you mentioned Artemis 3 and Artemis 4. What are these particular missions for? What will they do?
Right. So Artemis 3, up until about a month ago, was going to be the first crewed landing on the moon. But NASA realized that there are too many new things for that mission, and we can't have a lot of risk. We need to buy that down by taking stuff in missions in small steps. So what they're doing now is Artemis 3 will be a rendezvous in Earth orbit. Orion is just the capsule that gets the astronauts to the moon, and to go from that orbit around the moon to the surface, they need a human landing system. And SpaceX and Blue Origin are both building one, but not together, but separate companies. And they're not ready yet. Hopefully they'll be ready in a year or so, where we can at least do some rendezvous and docking in low Earth orbit with Artemis 3. And then hopefully with Artemis 4, we'll actually get crews on the ground with boots.
How badly did NASA need this win?
Very. It's been about 4 years since Artemis 1, and, the heat shield problem was on everyone's mind. Some engineers were a little bit, wringing their hands. Should we do it? How risky is it going to be? But luckily it turned out well, and, everything worked in their favor, with the worst thing being the bathroom being a little plugged up, but even that got fixed.
Well, I guess, we're looking at 27, 28, so we're going to have you back on a lot
couple more times,
over the
yeah.
next couple of years. Yeah.
I hope so, as I enjoy this.
Dr. Gillis, we appreciate you coming on with us.
Thanks, Megan. Have a great day.
You too. That is Dr. Jeffrey Gillis, research professor of physics at Washington University. Coming up, Anthropic's new AI model, Mythos, is frankly freaking people out. It's setting off a lot of alarms. We're going to talk about it with CBS News tech contributor Ian Scherer next.
It's already April. Maybe you're planning to have some get-togethers, a graduation party, Father's Day cookout, who knows? But is your outdoor space ready? Maybe you never got around to all those improvements you had been planning. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. And whether you're looking for a new deck or a patio, a pergola, a sunroom, a screen room, or all of the above and then some, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can make the magic happen, because they have 58 years of experience and they have thousands of satisfied customers, and they offer real value, because when you spend the money, you get a project that is going to last for years to come. They only ever use the highest quality materials. They have their own installation crews. That's important because those crews have years of experience. If you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 20% off your next outdoor project. Give them a call, stop by, or they'll come to you. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best, chesterfieldfence.com.
Don't miss the Route 66 Centennial Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Bring back memories of the Mother Road's stunning natural scenery and roadside attractions, and explore its complex history and impacts on communities across the region. Featuring a concert by Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, food trucks, lectures, kids' crafts, and more. All activities are free. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. Last week, we told you about Anthropic's new AI model and how the company is doing a controlled release because of its capabilities. Mythos broke out of its confines to email its developer and it's apparently a whiz at finding weak points in other operating systems. That is setting off alarms, especially in the financial sector. CBS News tech contributor Ian Sherr joins me now. Ian, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Of course.
How powerful is Mythos?
Well, look, I'm not hearing Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice in the background yet. So, we don't need to start worrying about Hollywood AI taking over and all the nuclear weapons and all of that. What we need to be thinking about is that it's so capable and so good at kind of organizing information that it is able to look across whole sets of data, whole sets of code, all sorts of stuff, and understand it in a way that, frankly, you and I struggle to unless we're really good at it. And because it doesn't need to sleep, it is able to find vulnerabilities and hacks and all sorts of other stuff at a rate much faster than even the startups themselves had expected. And that's what set off these alarm bells. It's not so much that these things are suddenly waking up and acting like themselves, they're these people on their own. It's rather that in the wrong hands, if you hand these tools over to a bad person or someone acting in bad faith, they could cause some serious harm to big institutions like the government, like the banks, like other stuff. And the truth of it, of course, is that competition around the world means that we're going to have these AIs available to everyone at some point. And it's not going to be very long from now. So instead of Anthropic, the company that caused all the stir, instead of them releasing the most recent version of their AI called Mythos, they said, you know what, we're going to work with other companies like Apple and Amazon and the Pentagon and all these other people so that they get access to it first, so that they can see how bad the hacking is. Now, it is worth noting that it has caused a stir inside the government. And in fact, the Federal Reserve, the Treasury, and major banks have already started talking about this. And we've only been a week into knowing this thing even exists. So it is a serious issue, but it's mostly about making sure we're prepared for when the rest of the world has access to this, and suddenly it is able to cause a lot more harm as a result.
So I'm curious from your perspective. I've heard people say, what was Anthropic thinking in even developing this in the first place? Give us some perspective on that.
Yes. I mean, I think that this is one of those problems of every tool has a plus and a minus to it, right? And just like when we were developing all sorts of different tools for the Manhattan Project, and they were saying new forms of energy, it also turned out that it could be used as a weapon. And the truth of it is that AI is being evolved at a very rapid pace, in part because there are many things it can do to help the world in a lot of ways. We've already seen it. It's helped with the medical field. We've seen now that AIs are able to actually do a better job identifying cancer than a human being. But it's also worth noting that a human and an AI are better than either of them alone. So, we're already seeing that these advances are coming out of this. But there are downsides to every tool. And that is the challenge we have. And just like we've had to build up security in our airports, and we've had to put, the airbags in our cars, we need to be more thoughtful about the security we're building into our computer systems, particularly now that AI is as capable as it is.
When we talk about security, is this something where we have to keep developing bigger and better AI? Or in some ways, do we have to go back to things like paper and pencil, cold hard cash to try to safeguard key assets?
Well, in some ways, both answers are correct, right? And you're actually seeing that play out. We've been hearing from a number of colleges now that they can't stop the students from using AI, nor should they, right? Just like Generation X and millennials need to learn how to use email and word processing, the next generations need to learn how to use AI. The thing is using it responsibly. So a lot of colleges now are going back to paper and pencil for their tests, but they're letting people use AI for a lot of other things. we're also seeing that there is more conversation about how do we make sure that we have critical systems separated from the internet in a meaningful way. And we've already, there have been for many years now, the Pentagon, for example, has rules about not allowing the computers that they use inside the Pentagon to have cameras or to have special ports in them and stuff like that. So some of those things are already happening, but it's definitely going to cause us all, I think, to think more about it now that we live in this age where the hacking tools that once again, it used to be that you had to pay teams, big teams of people, a lot of money to be able to do this stuff. Now it's increasingly turning into something you can do in your basement. And that's what scares some of these startups.
Ian, thank you so much. Always appreciate having you on.
Absolutely.
That is CBS News tech contributor Ian Sherr joining us this morning here on KMOX. Chris and Amy are next.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Most Americans overconsume protein. Caution.